Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talking About Balls. I am Justin George, joined as always by Kyle Price. Kyle, welcome back.
What's up, man? Well, not always, but I'm here occasionally now. Part-time.
Yeah, and had a very nice week off, so we're back. We have plenty to get into. Been fun. Been a fun couple of weeks. We'll get into it. I went to Punta Cana and had a great time. The first chunk of the trip went great. The travel portion was excellent. Teddy did great on the flights, had people coming up and complimenting how great she was. She's making friends on the plane. Everyone sitting around us was like making faces and like playing with her the whole time. She was great. She was also great on the way home. The trip itself was excellent. We went to Punta Cana, Majestic Colonial, and we were there from Sunday until Saturday, celebrated our 5-year wedding anniversary, had a lot of family, had some friends, just overall a really good time. You've been down there to the Dominican. I think when you went with us, you went with us twice. We stayed at the Elegance and the Mirage. So this is the resort you have not been to.
The Colonial night. Is this the one we'd sneak into sometimes?
Yeah, this is the one that has the nightclub and stuff like that. So
okay,
they're all connected, but this was the one to the furthest left, if that makes sense.
Nightclub, the quote unquote,
the Coco Disco,
the big white room with the big screens in the back wall. Is that the same one?
Yeah, they've updated it a little bit. It's pretty nice. I went there again.
Nice.
No, it was a great time though. The weather was fucking perfect. It only rained, I think, like once, and it was in the middle of the night. Like we were already in bed. Otherwise, it was humid, warm, perfect weather that you would expect down in the Dominican. Had a great time. Teddy had a blast. Lived in the pool. She really enjoyed herself. Everybody had a great time. Really, really nothing to write home about story wise from the resort. Everyone just had a blast. Then we get to the trip home. That's where the fun begins.
Oh.
So we're in the Dominican airport. It is chaotic, to say the least. Lines are ridiculous. Luckily, we have a stroller. We were able to cut through everybody pretty quickly, so we got through. Everybody made the flight. As we're getting ready to board, we have a stroller that Tara got that is specifically labeled as a carry-on stroller, meant for carry-on for airplanes. Didn't fit. So I had to gate check it. There's nobody at the gate, at the desk to get like a tag or anything. So I just said, okay, well, we'll take it down. We'll gate check it. And I go down there and I tell the guy I'd like to gate check this. He takes it, hands it to the guy. They walk it down the plane. Don't even think twice about it. I go, okay, cool. It'll be there when we get off the plane. That's how a gate check works. We land in Baltimore. We wait. All of a sudden, the plane's completely empty. We're literally the last one standing there. And I'm like, we're still waiting on that stroller. The guy's calling down. He's like, looking for a stroller for the couple here. And all of a sudden, the guy pops up and just goes, oh, if you had a stroller, it's down in baggage claim. Because it's an international flight, everything has to go to baggage claim because you have to go collect all your bags and then resubmit them. So I said, okay, no problem. Annoying, but whatever. We'll carry her. So we carry Teddy all the way down. We're waiting. All of our other baggage comes. We're waiting. All of a sudden, the carousel stops. It's done. They're done unloading our plane. No stroller. I go, where the fuck is my stroller at? So I go up to the Southwest desk, and I talk to the women there, and I go, excuse me, could you call whoever just unloaded our plane flight number 812? Because we had a stroller that we gate checked. They didn't give it to us. And she goes, okay, well, do you have a tag? I said, no, they didn't give me a tag. I handed it to the guy, said I need to gate check this. He just took it. They walked it off the plane. She goes, oh, yeah, you're going to have to file a claim with Southwest. I'm like, we just fucking got off the plane. Just call and say, where's the bag that didn't come with the other bags? And she's like, now you got to file a claim. And she's like, or you could wait here. And I said, well, my connecting flight to Cleveland is in like 25 minutes, and I still have to go through fucking security again. She's like, oh, yeah, you'll never make it. So she's like, you got to go. You'll have to just make a claim. So I'm like, so I yell at the top of my lungs. I go, cool, so you lost my fucking stroller. And I just walk away. And Tara's like, calm down, calm down. I'm like, no, this is fucking ridiculous. They literally, I handed them a bag, hand it back to me when the plane lands. Not that hard. Pretty simple. They do it every day. So I'm pissed. We then we're waiting at the gate for Baltimore. I immediately get on the phone. I'm filing claims. I'm calling Southwest. I'm bitching this guy out. This guy's like, it'll probably be there in Cleveland. I said, how the fuck is it going to get to Cleveland when they didn't tag it? They have no idea where this is supposed to end up. They took it off my plane in Baltimore, and now it is just lost in the abyss because they wouldn't ask anybody where the fuck it's at. And the guy's like, oh, yeah. He's like, well, unfortunately, you have to wait till you get to Cleveland to confirm that it didn't make it. And then you'll have to file a claim with baggage and this and that. And I'm like, I guarantee you it won't make it. We can start the claim process right now. Why the fuck would they randomly send it to Cleveland? They have no idea who I am.
Are you sure you even got on the plane from Dominican?
I think.
Okay.
I think. I mean, my understanding, again, I handed it to the guy. He handed it to the worker in the vest, and the guy walked out. And I'm guessing he tossed it on a plane. They got to Baltimore. Now, after I was able to take a breath, I thought about what their procedure probably is. This probably happens all the time. A tag falls off, whatever. I'm guessing their procedure is if you see a bag without a tag, you instantly put it aside. It's easier for them to hold on to it, for you to contact them for like a lost and found situation, than it would be for them to just toss it in a fucking cart and go, well, we don't know where it went. So for them, it's probably easier to just go, we're going to hold on to it so we can find the owners. So that's my guess as to what happened. Is it stupid? Yes, because it was gate checked. But then I thought about it too, and I realized the guy that checked it in the Dominican or tossed it on the plane in the Dominican didn't fly with the plane. So when it landed in Baltimore, these guys took it off and just went, okay, we have this bag, because it's a stroller, but it's in what almost looks like a duffel bag. It folds up, goes into a bag with a zipper and everything. So you really don't know it's a stroller unless you like own it. So my guess is they picked up the bag and went, okay, this bag lost its tag. I don't know where it's supposed to go. Put it in the lost and found. So we didn't have a stroller. The most annoying fucking part of that was when we landed in Cleveland, we left for a week. We flew Southwest. Southwest allows you to take one carry-on, one personal, 2 checked bags each.
Right.
So we had 6 bags total. I had a book bag. Tara had a carry-on. And then we had 4 or 5 suitcases and no stroller now. So we land in Cleveland and we go, cool. How the fuck are we going to get all this to my car? Because I parked there. So we had to lug out the fucking car. Saturday night, we made it work. So what happened was I basically tucked 4 together in 2 hands, my book bag on my back. Tara held the baby and then rolled another bag. So we made it work. But what a pain in the fucking dick. So I'm heated. This is Saturday. We get home. I'm pissed off. I file a lost and found claim with Baltimore Airport. I file one through Southwest. I file one with the Dominican Airport, and I file one with the Cleveland Airport just in case it made it there. So I had to explain what our stroller looks like, all the fucking details to it, everything. And I'm pissed. I get an email that says, I'm talking to their team on Twitter, and they're going, we like to resolve these issues within 24 hours. We hope to get your stroller back to you in no time, blah, blah, blah. Sunday night rolls around. I get an email. Unfortunately, we still haven't located your stroller. And I'm like, God damn it. They're not going to find this fucking thing. Like, it's lost. So then I'm thinking, now I have to argue with them and basically just tell them, just give me enough money to cover it. I don't want anything extra. Just fucking give me enough money to buy another one, because that's Tara's stroller. I have a different one in my car. Obviously, right. First world problems. We could share a stroller, but it's just easier when we both have our own. So I'm pissed. And then all of a sudden, right at the end of the day on Monday at work at about 3:15, I get an email that says, hey, we found your bag. We shipped it to Cleveland. It's at the Southwest baggage claim desk. Like, you have to go show your ID. They'll give you your luggage, because they don't know what it is. They just call it luggage. So I'm like, okay, let's see. Obviously, the airport, you can't just swing by and jump out of your car. I have to make a whole fucking to-do with Tara. And I go,
just roll up and let it park there. It's fine. What could happen? What's the
so word? I go, Tara, I have to now drive home to Strongsville now, get you to drive me to the airport with Teddy so I can jump out, go in. You have to circle a couple times.
Would have been much easier if you lived in Brook Park still.
Yes and no. Still a bitch. So then we go there. I walk in immediately. I look. It's just, there's no one there. It's just the lady working. So I heard it here first. Won the first game. Oh, bowling.
Yeah, nice.
Congratulations. So I roll in. I see the bag sitting right there. It's leaning against the wall, and the lady's like, "Hi, can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "I'm here to pick up my stroller." She's like, "Oh, you're Justin?" I was like, "Yeah, here's my ID." She checked in. She's like, She's like, I read some of the reports. So what happened? And I walked her through it all. And she's like, they didn't tag it? I said, no. I handed it to the guy. I said, I need to gate check this. And he just took it. And she's like, that's crazy. She's like, well, just future reference, demand that they give you some sort of documentation so you can keep track of it. And I was like, now I know that. I'm like, I didn't know policy. I've never really gate checked a stroller before because this is my first time flying with the baby. So I just kind of assumed they take it, they give it back to me. But I understand. So again, I didn't want anything. I literally was just like, thank you, give me my bag. I'll walk out. As I'm leaving. The lady just goes,
get some flight status. Yeah.
So she gave me $100 flight voucher.
Nice.
I'll take it. I figure we fly for free with Teddy, or she flies for free for the next 2 years or year and a half, whatever, until she's 2. So the fact that she can fly for free, Tara and I were like, whatever, $100 goes towards something. We could take another trip. So Tara's already looking for our next vacation. Awesome. So that was that. And then on top of it, we needed a grocery shop. We had been gone for a week, so we go to Costco. This is the Costco story that everybody saw on Facebook, that I teased on Facebook. So it's not as exciting when I tell the story, but all of these are very true events. I hate Costco. Everyone should know that. I'm very open about my disdain for the people of Costco, especially the Strongsville location. People, for some reason, have the urge to walk next to each other. Don't walk in a line when you can walk next to each other and block whole aisles. So people love to do that. I hate it. Then there's people that are by themselves. They like to walk on the side of their cart instead of pushing it like a normal person pushes a cart. Another thing I fucking hate. So I'm already frustrated. We go on a Monday evening. I'm thinking maybe it won't be that bad. Shouldn't be that crowded on a Monday. We typically go on the weekend. It's a bitch. Maybe a Monday won't be that bad. It's a little crowded. Kind of pissed already. We're walking in. I don't know. You've been to Costco, I'm sure. So as we're walking in the main big entrance, there's a crosswalk for people. We're walking. Humans or pedestrians have the right of way. We're going. All of a sudden, this lady just goes, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to inch my way through the crosswalk. And as she does that, people are walking in front of her. So she has to come to a complete stop, blocking the crosswalk as we're pushing the stroller. So I just go, oh no, go ahead. And I think she kind of thought I was being sincere. So she's like, oh, sorry. And like giving me this. And I just said, you fucking idiot. And I just yelled, and everyone were walking and working around her. There was like an old guy pushing carts, and everyone just stopped immediately and looked at me. And I just shook my head at her like, you fucking dummy. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Now we go shopping. Everything's good. I have to deal with the stupidity of people. The main reason I went there is because there's a little secret that I learned on the internet the other day. Costco has their own butcher section. They cut up their own meat. They'll take meat and give you a huge roll of very lean ground beef. It's like 93.7 in terms of lean and fat. I was intrigued. It's sold for a very good price for meat that lean. So it's like give or take $4 a pound. So technically it's, I guess, $4.40 a pound because I got a 10-pound. It's called the Chub. It's literally the long tube of fresh butchered meat. And it was $44. So I've heard about it. Heard it's really good meat. It's a great deal. You get it at Costco. And I confirmed with my brother who works there. I said, you guys sell the Chub? He asked. He goes, yeah, you just go up to the butcher and ask for it. So I go up to a guy who's stocking the chicken. He's got the full butcher fucking hazmat suit on. He's got the hair net on his beard because he has a big bushy beard. And I walk up and I call my brother first. And I'm like, okay, so I just go up to anybody working in this section and ask for the Chub, right? He goes, yeah. I go, okay, cool. So I go up to the guy. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for the Chub, the big pack of ground beef. And the guy just goes, oh, yeah, all of our ground beef is right up there in that cooler. Thanks, man. I walk up, I look, just regular ground beef, not at all what I'm looking for. So I turn and I go, okay, that guy's an idiot. I need somebody else to help me here. So I look in, and there's another guy who looks like the real butcher. He's in there. He's cleaning the fucking slab. He's got a pressure washer. He's hosing off all the blood.
He looks the part. He looks the part. Okay.
He looks like either she should be in Texas Chainsaw Massacre or he's a legitimate butcher. So I'm standing there. I'm watching him work. I hate talking to people. So I look in there and I go, fuck, he's working. He's busy. What do I do? Tara's looking at me and she's like, just knock on the door. I'm like, that's fucking rude. The dude's pressure washing a table. He's literally like lifting up these slabs and spraying them. He's all soaking wet and dirty. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking bother the guy. I feel really bad. And Tara just goes, I'll fucking do it. So she walks in, fucking knocks and shit, and then goes, he comes to the door and I finally just go, hey, like I have my tail between my legs because I made Tara knock. And I'm like, do you guys have the Chub? And he just kind of smirks. He's like, I do. I have to go weigh it up, and I'll get a price sticker on it for you. I was like, thank you very much. And he brings me out this fucking tube. It was awesome. So then we finish shopping. Everything's good. We're there. It's Monday night. It's close to 7. So I just go, let's just get food from the food court. They have that good hot dog deal. Get a hot dog, slice of pizza, head home. So we do all that. It's a little crowded in the food court area, but whatever. It's manageable. As I'm getting ready to walk through, they have the picnic tables. There's a family of like 10. There's a lady, and there are a shit ton of kids.
There's always a family sitting there when we go there eating pizza and hot dogs. It's the worst.
100%. Like these people were chowing, and hey, more power to them. I was going home to do the same thing. So I'm trying to walk through, and the picnic tables are pretty close. There's like just enough room to get your cart through if people are sitting. This lady, her teenage daughters are standing in the aisle, and I start pushing the cart. Tara gets through with the stroller, no problem. The cart's a little wider. So I look and I just go, excuse me. And they all just look at me and they're speaking English, so they understood me. They just look at me and they take a half an inch step in. And the lady's just like, oh, here, get out of the way. And like inches her daughter forward another like half inch. And I just looked and I put, I can't get through if you don't move. And then finally the lady's like, oh yeah, go out of the aisle. Go out of the aisle. Like, you fucking idiots. How do you not have any sense of people around you to where you know you're blocking my cart? Get out of my fucking way. So I just finally was like, I can't get through if you don't move. And then they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we get it now. And that was that. I left Costco.
I have these days like you're describing where it's a compounding fact. It just happens one thing after another, whether it's people who don't know how to drive, who get in my way when I'm trying to walk, who are just saying the dumbest shit. Like I there's days me and Jessica are out. And I'm like, I got to get home. Like, I got to get away from people.
Yeah, no,
like, what the fuck is going on?
I guess it would help if I shared the show. So what have you been up to? That really is all I have for me.
Jeez.
I did all that. We did some fall pictures in the backyard with Teddy. I partially cut my grass because I only have like an hour to myself when I get home from work. So there's a section.
How's the riding lawnmower?
Haven't used it yet, technically.
Okay.
So the way our driveway is, it splits up our yard a little bit. So to the right is the huge portion with like the huge lot and all that, and where there's like hills and shit. To the left of the front yard is a little patch that goes up to a fence that separates my property line with my one neighbor. That one's not big enough to need the riding mower. So when I got home from work Monday, I told Tara, I'm like, the weather's nice enough. I'm cutting as much grass as I can for an hour. So I cut a little bit on the right side and some parts where the riding mower would more than likely tip over because it's so steep. So cut a big chunk of the grass, came inside. We went to the airport, went to Costco, came home. It's just been go. Yesterday, came home from work. It was, rinse and repeat routine of Tuesdays are my night with Teddy. So I came home and watched her. So I don't have time to do anything. So I got a little bit of the grass cut. Have yet to use the riding mower still, just because I knew I wouldn't have time. And also, again, I don't like talking to people. And my neighbors too, if you're looking at my house to the right, they're moving. And they were using the beautiful weather on Monday to be a big moving day. So they're parked in their driveway. They have a friend over with a truck. They're carrying shit out. And I'm like, there's no way in hell, because my property line almost goes to their driveway. And I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm using my riding mower now, and I might have to stop and talk to them. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I got too much shit to do. So I said, fuck it. The grass can wait. So I just didn't cut the grass.
Did you guys get your decorations up for Halloween?
No, we didn't have time. We have a couple things up, but the 12-foot, 10-foot skeleton, whatever the fuck.
She made you go and buy the 10-foot, 12-foot skeleton, go through that whole debacle, and you didn't even get to put it up yet.
I'm making her put a Santa hat on it, and we're going to use it for Christmas. We are going to get some sort of use out of it. I'll put him a fucking pilgrim hat on him for Thanksgiving if I have to. We're getting use out of that thing.
That's amazing. I mean, I think you saw ours. We finally got ours. We had ours up.
You said the witch setup.
Yeah, we had ours up for a while, and then we kind of tweaked it. So I bought more lights. We got a new witch so Home Depot had 50% off all their home decor or outside decorations. And first off, George, is my mic good? I mean, is it loud, soft, quiet? I'm trying to, Jess is saying it's kind of quiet. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you good in my headphones.
Okay. Making sure. But yeah, so it was 50% off at Home Depot. So we ordered a lot of stuff, like a lot of different decorations. This witch that's like animatronic that like makes noises and laughs and moves around and stuff. So it goes well with the other witch that we have. That's the floating witch. So we bought that stuff. We kind of retweaked our yard one night and got everything looking how it is. And I think it looks pretty badass now. So we're actually going to stay home tomorrow night, and for the first time since we lived here, do our own candy passing out, which is kind of cool. We've never done it before. We usually just go to Mike and Colleen's and pass out candy and walk around with them, but we're going to actually have people come and pass out, because we asked our neighbors if they get busy during the time, and they said, yeah, they get a good amount of kids that come through. So I'm pretty pumped about tomorrow. We'll put the fire pit out there. We'll have some music going, pass out the candy and so on and so forth. Maybe I'll make some adult concoction or whatever. We'll see, and pass it out to the parents as they walk by. But no, I mean, I wasn't in Punta Cana, but I mean, honestly, it looked great down there. It looks like you guys had a blast, which is awesome. Happy anniversary again, by the way. 5 years. All my memories on Facebook were all just basically Punta Cana, or it was
October is just vacations, because we go down at the same time every time.
I got the notification of you guys getting engaged after Halloween. 6
that
years
happened
ago, whatever.
Anniversary.
Yeah. But no, I mean, last week was pretty much whatever, normal week. Last weekend, my liver went to town, I will say. Friday night, we what did I do Friday night? I forget what I did Friday night. Saturday, got up and I golfed in the morning at Copper Top. So of course, drinking some adult beverages. We get home and we went to game day to celebrate a birthday from somebody that we know. The plan was to just be there.
In Medina?
No, game day is the one up here.
That's Game On, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we were there for our plan was to be there for 2 hours, maybe 3, just have some drinks, hang out, nothing crazy. So then we get a message from Mike that said, hey, I don't have any Mason tonight. Colleen's at work because we were going to the Browns game the next day. What are you guys up to? And we're like, well, we're at game day. So he came up. We ended up sitting there for another hour or two. And then we went to Chestnut 83 and played darts until like 1 o'clock in the morning. So get home at 1. I basically was drinking since 8 o'clock that morning. Get home at 1, sleep. We get up and we go tailgate. Now, full disclosure, I think I've told you this before. First ever Browns game for me. I've never been to a Browns game before as a fan.
I did not know that.
Ever.
You told me that in passing, but I completely forgot. That's, oh, shit.
Yeah, I've been to Browns games because obviously I have workers who work there, checked them in, been in the bowels of the stadium, walked around. I've never been as a fan. So this was the first time for me, which is great. Mike won tickets.
No shit.
Yeah, Mike won tickets last year at a
those are really good seats.
Night at the Races. Oh my God, dude. Section 107, great seat. I mean, it's amazing to me when you get there and you're like, this fucking field's so tiny. How do they not move the fucking ball down the field? I don't get it. But it's
very easy when you're the Browns.
But so we tailgated. My buddy Jacob, who's in the MGA, shout out to Jacob. He and his cousin have this like setup. So they have this van or this bus. It's called the Slaughterhouse bus that sits right at the entrance of Munilot. And they bring a shit ton of food. They have all these people with them. They bring in like subs, wings, hot dogs, bratwurst, unlimited drinks. They have Coors Light, sweet, whatever, anything you can think of, right? So you pay $25 if you want to participate, or you can just bring your own shit if you want to. But we paid them $25, all you can eat and drink.
That's a no-brainer. That's so much cheaper than lugging your own shit around too.
Such an absolute steal, right? And it's right there at the front, so you get all the foot traffic, people walking by. We were playing beer pong basketball, basically with these big old tennis balls that look like basketballs, shooting them, playing people that were walking by, random people walking by. So I think I drank like 7 or 8 beers, had my fill of food, and then we walked to the stadium and had great seats. We were surrounded by Ravens fans, front and back. So the shit talking
makes it even sweeter.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, and obviously watched a great game. Browns won, surprise, without Winston trying to give it away there, but we'll talk more about that later. But still great game and a great experience overall. Got home around 7 Sunday and I passed the fuck out. I think I slept from 8 o'clock that night till 6 o'clock the next day, 7 o'clock the next day. I took the PTO day on Monday and I went back to work yesterday. So it's been kind of a fun couple
Not
days.
Bad.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, so one quick thing I wanted to tell you that happened in Punta Cana that was really cool that you'd get a kick out of. So we stayed at the Majestic Colonial, which they have 3 resorts, Majestic does, and I rank them as basically you have bronze, silver, gold. All are great, but obviously one's better than the other.
Yeah.
So Colonial would be their bronze. Elegance is their silver, and then the Mirage, where we got married the last time you were there, is the gold. It's the beautiful one. So we're at Colonial, and a few days before the trip, I look at Tara and I go, man, I can't wait to go to the fucking cafe and have a coffee. And she goes, that's at Mirage. I don't know if we have access to that. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So she reaches out, sends a heartfelt email to try to get a little, play with their heartstrings a little bit, get them to go. She's like, we got married here. We've been here. This is now our 4th time coming to Majestic Resorts. We're celebrating our 5-year anniversary. Would we be able to go to the coffee shop at Mirage or the cafe? And they put, hey, thanks for being a loyal, person, whatever. But unfortunately, no, you don't have access to that as Colonial residents or whatever. And I'm like, fuck, dude, that's so annoying. I'm pissed off. Don't get me wrong. There's still coffee on the Colonial side. It's just not as good. They have an actual cafe. So whatever. I drink coffee every day. And Thursday night rolls around. We go to the sports bar to watch Thursday Night Football. We're in there watching it. All of a sudden, my cousin and Tara, I think my cousin was smoking or they were petting the cats or something like that because, there's always cats outside the buildings.
Yeah.
So they're outside a little extra, and all of a sudden it's like 10, 15 minutes goes by, and finally I'm like, dude, where the fuck is Tara at? I text her. I'm like, are you guys coming in? All of a sudden I get a selfie. She's in the sports bar at the Mirage, the super fucking nice one.
Wow.
Snuck way over there. So immediately I go, we have access to that? She goes, well, we came in. They didn't say anything. Like, well, our bands kind of look similar, so we're just going to go with it. And I said, we'll be right there. So I gathered the troops, and we head on over to the sports bar, and we made it over to the Mirage. And Friday morning, we woke up. We watched the Thursday Night Football game there. It was awesome. Friday morning, we walked right back over, went right up into the cafe, ordered some specialty drinks, and they just said, here you go, no problem. Didn't fucking even look. It was awesome. Had I known that, I would have been there every fucking day. But hindsight's, I'll take what I can get. So I got a nice day at the cafe.
That sports bar is nice.
To go to the sports bar. It's the sports bar in Colonial side is not even like it's the one at Mirage is on another level. It's so nice. So I was really happy to go there, especially for Thursday Night Football, and got to experience that again. And we ordered all the nice food, the buffalo wings, the cheesesteak, all the good shit that they had last time. And again, they didn't even bat an eye. The one thing we did to make sure they wouldn't even question us is as soon as we walked in, we all threw a bunch of money on the table just so they know we're tipping you motherfuckers. So don't let us out. Just give us some free shit and we'll leave.
That's awesome, man.
It was cool.
I'm glad you had a good time. That's great.
Yeah, we had a blast, honestly. It was really fun. Already looking forward to going back hopefully soon. We'll see.
We're mentally kind of prepping for our vacation. We fly out to Vegas next Saturday. So
damn, that's soon.
Yeah, next Saturday. I can't believe it's already fucking here.
I always thought it was closer to Thanksgiving, but wow, that's early. No shit.
Yes. We fly out at Saturday. We don't come back till Thursday. We're there an extra day this year. 6 days, and we got a full schedule outside of golf. But, I know. My liver's gonna. I might die in Vegas. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, speaking of your liver, let's give it a little warm up, shall we? Of course. It doesn't happen often this year, but the Browns won a game. So it is time for talking about Buzzballs. I am going with the Lime-A-Rita, Tequila-Rita, whatever the fuck it's called.
Going with the old Forbidden Apple.
And obviously, we do this for a Browns W. There's no question about it.
Browns hoodie too,
I see that. I threw on the Cavs hat. Browns W, like Jameis does. We eat those W's, at least for now, until the defenses actually start catching his interceptions.
We'll talk about that because I trigger people.
Definitely will, because there are a lot of fans that I jokingly named this episode the Revival, as if the season has been revived. I still think we have no shot at doing anything. However, we'll talk about it. If you really want to dig deep and look at the rest of the AFC, we are only about 2 games away from being in a wild card situation. And one of the teams that are ahead of us, the team we play this week, the Los Angeles Chargers, have I think a 1 or 2 game advantage on us. So a win against them, and I might have to take this Revival very seriously, but we'll see what happens on Sunday. We're not going to get ahead of the cart. Also, though, I do want to say that this Buzzball is not just for the Browns' victory. It is also in honor of the late, the great Jim Donovan. Cleveland has been so blessed with getting some of the great graphic, George, with getting some of the greatest play-by-play guys in history. Maybe it's just me because I'm from Cleveland, but Joe Tate for the Cavaliers was phenomenal. He could paint a picture on a basketball court better than anybody I'd ever heard. Obviously, Tom Hamilton, I don't even think it's even debatable. I think he's one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
And I think fans of other teams would even agree with that. Tom Hamilton is great. And then we were lucky enough to have Jim Donovan, who is a Cleveland local, who made his way through the ranks. He traveled from state to state, city to city, all through his career till he finally got the Cleveland Browns radio job in 1999 when they came back. And he was the voice of the Cleveland Browns for the last 30 years, or 25 years. And unfortunately did develop cancer a few years ago, beat it, and then it came back, and he had to take the year off. And I was kind of hoping he didn't really look good towards the end, but I was hoping, fingers crossed, that he would be able to get through it. And unfortunately, it did take him. So this one's going to be for not only for the Browns W, but most importantly, this one is going to be for Jim Donovan, a Cleveland legend. So rest in peace, Jim Donovan. Cleveland Browns, you guys know the drill. Talking about buzzballs.
Cheers.
And down the hatch. Cheers, everybody.
That never gets old. Ugh.
All right. So,
Oh boy.
Jim Donovan did pass away. It's unfortunate, but
Ooh.
I don't really love Andrew Siciliano.
He doesn't sound bad though, man. He doesn't sound Jim Donovan, but he doesn't sound bad.
That's his name, right? We have Andrew Siciliano doing it.
Yeah, I just call him Big Ears, but yeah, we'll go with that name.
Oh, they're huge. He could probably hear us talking right now. So between him and I'm also like, Nathan Zagora seems like one of the coolest dudes in the world.
Yeah.
But I don't really like he's too much of a homer. And that might be part of his contract. I don't know. Like, he does work for the Browns radio network, and he does the Cleveland Browns Daily. He does the Cleveland Browns play-by-play.
What's up,
Drinking and podcasting should be illegal. Talking about the Browns and being sober should be illegal, Adam, is the real thing. But what's up, dude? Thanks for checking in. So Jim Donovan passed away. The Browns did play. I landed in Punta Cana. We flew out Sunday, so like a fucking idiot. We won't talk about the Guardians now, but Guardians are down 3-1 to the Yankees in that series, and Game 5 is Saturday night. That was a good one.
Really?
Game 5 is Saturday night, and I decide to stay up and watch the game. Meanwhile, our flight is at 6 a.m., takes off at 6 a.m., so I have to be to the airport at 4. That means I have to get up around 3 o'clock. On top of making sure the baby's ready, everything's good to go. I stay up and watch that fucking Guardians game like an idiot, pretty much. I will admit that as soon as it went to the 10th inning, bottom of the 9th, we got out of we ended the inning. It was going to the 10th. I turned off the TV. It's give or take 11:30, I think, at night, and I just said, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. I can't stay up and watch this just for the Guardians to lose an extra innings and for the season to be over. I need to get some sleep. So I get some sleep. I wake up. I see that Soto hits the home run in the 10th inning, and I go, perfect. I turn it off at the fucking perfect time. So I get like no sleep. We get to the airport. We get onto the plane. Everything's good. We land in Punta Cana. As you know, in Punta Cana, this is still Browns related, George. As we land in Punta Cana, as you know,
I hated the fact that I was sending you green messages, but yeah,
your phone doesn't work down there. So I can text, but I had no signal or service to like open up an app. So I can't check any scores. I have no fucking idea how the Browns are doing. That's why I started texting you, and I'm just like, what's the score? How are they looking? But the funny thing is when I land and I get my phone gets signal and I get 100 fucking texts that are all Watson's done. Watson's Achilles blew up. He's done. I'm like, oh shit, this can't be good.
Oh, it looked bad. I'm sure you saw the replay.
But I saw it 100 times. Yeah, I saw it zoomed in. You see it fucking pop.
Oh, yeah.
I feel bad for the guy. It's unfortunate. Clearly, I think his days in Cleveland are done.
He won't play another snap for the Browns again.
Highly unlikely. No, based on his history, it's safe to say, you know me, I loved the trade. I will own that through and through. I think it was the right decision to make. In terms of grading a player and in terms of scouting and taking a chance on somebody, they took a chance on the right guy. He was a guy who at one point was an MVP caliber player, and he was still in his prime. I don't even think he might be 28 years old right now. He's still young. But mentally, he's done. He officially, I can safely say, he is mentally cooked. This injury, the fans booing him, is just another a piece of icing on the cake. Truthfully, not to be morbid, but I'm glad that his contract is fully guaranteed for his sake, because imagine if he lost his money and you had this situation happen where because the funny thing is, you look at his contract and he made, what was it, like $230 million or something like that was his contract?
230 guaranteed, yeah.
Yeah, so he gets $230 million guaranteed. Okay, so you take away taxes, you take away your agent fees. Agents are at least 10%. So, okay, 23 million gone. So we'll just put him down to 200. Taxes, how much is that? Like 30%, something like that? He would take, they're taking from him?
160 million right now.
So now he's making 160 million, which again, I'm not trying to play a pity party for 160 million dollars. Right. But we also will never know how much the lawsuits cost him. He had to pay off 20 plus women. And I'm guessing it wasn't, a couple thousand. It was probably significant money. Legal fees. He's paying off all this stuff. He bought a nice house in Cleveland because he really thought he was going to have a long career here. So again, I'm not boo-hooing the guy by any stretch, but they didn't put $230 million in his bank account. Will he be comfortable if he lives his life smart? Yeah, he'll be fine. Which I assume he will be. But it's one of those things that if he didn't have all that money, go ahead.
Do you think he plays football again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'll be a Russell Wilson situation. Basically, the Browns are going to just cut him, and they're just going to have to eat the contract, like the Russell Wilson situation. So I think some team would take a chance on him to go be their backup, because, I mean, there's worse backups in the NFL.
Do you think they cut him in the offseason, or do you let him ride out one more year?
I think you got to cut him. I think you have to at this point. The fans have which is the other thing that's really fucked up to me. And I know we talked about this a little bit. I made a long rant, a long post. You got to take a chance, Adam. I'm with you. I mean, we were a team that had a championship window that was available, and they took a chance on a guy who, again, the Browns weren't the only team going after Watson. Don't let the media rhetoric fool you and people that try to act like the Browns are some shitty organization. There were half the league went after the guy. He narrowed it down to 5, and the Browns made that top 5. I think it was the Saints, the Browns, the Falcons, and I forgot the other 2 teams, but he narrowed it down to about 5 teams that he was going to pick between. But about half the league was interested in bringing Deshaun Watson to them. So to act like the Browns are some stupid organization, yes, they paid him, they gave him a guaranteed contract, but if another team would have signed him, they would have just signed him to a 5-year, $200-something million contract, not guaranteed. So it's not really that different.
But we thought we were getting Watson of Houston. We thought we were going to get the Houston Watson with what you said. He's an MVP. If we based that decision on the talent that we thought this guy had, and if that guy's talent transposed over to the Browns team, we were absolutely going to do what we win a Super Bowl potentially. But he's like you said, he's got birds in his head. He's half cooked. He's just not mentally there. He doesn't trust himself. He couldn't make those easy throws like he used to. He kind of got it together, but he never had a full season to actually get it under his belt, and that's what sucks. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And fuck, who cares about the dead cap? Just the salary cap's going up. The salary cap doesn't even exist.
Salary cap goes up every year. Browns technically right now have a ton of cap space that they're not using, which when it all happened, I had a lot of people that were coming at me going, oh, the Browns are going to trade for Devontae Adams. They're going to trade for this guy. Look at all this cap space. And I immediately told everybody, I said, they're not making any moves with that money. That is rollover money. So between the rollover money, between the salary cap increasing every year because the NFL keeps making billions upon billions more a year, they're able to, the cap space goes up by 10 to 15% every year, which is huge when it's already huge. They will be completely fine. And yeah, you can look at that now, George. So that's what like the basic numbers show. Andrew Berry is a cap wizard. He will restructure contracts. He's going to move money around. It'll be completely fine. The other funny thing that people don't really think about is, you think Andrew Berry didn't have this planned ahead when they gave him this contract? You don't think he looked and said, here's what we can do to make this work? They have it all figured out. So I'm not too worried about it. You got to pay Watson the money anyway. I'd rather get it off the books as soon as possible. And the way you do that is with the current situation the Browns are in, where you're going to be looking for a new quarterback next year. I think it's safe to say. You go for the draft pick. The cheapest option nowadays is you have a window where you can't miss. You have to get that rookie quarterback that's going to be good, but you go get your rookie quarterback who costs the team nothing. You get your Brock Purdy, who's on a cheap contract. the Niners window closes after this year because Brock Purdy is getting a huge contract extension, and they're not going to be able to afford half the guys on that roster anymore. Between the money Purdy's making, they paid Nick Bosa. He'll probably be a cap casualty, possibly. They paid Debo. They paid Kittle. They paid Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey. All these guys, they can't afford all of them because they're lucky with Brock Purdy's contract. So the Browns are in a perfect situation now. You draft the rookie. Again, you can keep Watson on the team. It doesn't really matter, though. You either cut him and you eat the dead cap, if which I assume Andrew Berry has that all worked out if he wants to, or you just leave Watson on the roster. You make him your third quarterback and you don't activate him, and you keep him out of the spotlight. It is what it is. But I think what would be best for everybody would be to just get rid of him, let him go somewhere else.
I mean, for the media, for the PC aspect as well, and the fan base, just if you get rid of him, you get rid of him. He's no longer a problem. Will it be another one of those black eyes in Cleveland Brown sports history? Yeah, sure, potentially. And it's one of those things you have to move on with. Is fuck it, move on. We've got big things to look forward in the future. I hate saying that, but you got a new stadium coming in 2029, right? New location. We got a team. We don't have a bad football team. We have smart GMs in place. We have a good coach, even though I question him sometimes. We have a good coach in place. You got a lot of things to build on, right?
Coach.
Just go for it. Great coach.
Yeah. What I was getting at, though, before I started on my tangent, which that's just what I do, the fans that were booing Watson, the people that hate Deshaun Watson, if you put it into perspective, that dude gave this city everything he had. It didn't work, but he gave them everything he had. If the wheels fall off rest of the season, do they survive? Yeah, absolutely. No question, Adam. Realistically, the only guy that should be worried is Paul DePodesta, who does not have a contract extension. His contract ends at the end of this year. He is the reason we got Deshaun Watson. That was Paul DePodesta's doing.
I think they're better off without him, man, to be honest.
I mean, the funny thing, I saw some stats the other day, not even stats, but I saw some people make some posts, and they were like, Paul DePodesta has won 0 championships in his career for working with sports organizations between Major League Baseball and NFL. Why is he so highly coveted and sought after as some genius? What has he built? So he is the reason we got Deshaun Watson, which, again, I'm not knocking the move at all. I'm willing to die on that hill. I'll own it that I loved that trade, and I'm not going to back away from that corner. He's the reason Deshaun Watson was starting this entire season, even when we all saw this offense is trash. It was because Paul DePodesta is convincing Jimmy Haslam, hey, we traded for this guy. We gave up a lot of draft picks. We paid him a lot of money. This must work. So it's Paul DePodesta, really. But again, no, Browns fans are really stupid, and they just immediately go, oh, Stefanski should be fired because he keeps starting Deshaun Watson and telling the media telling the fans that he's their best bet to win. He's told to say that, you fucking dummies. Same thing with Andrew Berry. They're like, Andrew Berry needs to be fired. He traded for Deshaun Watson. You don't think that was a collaborative thing that they basically told him, hey, Andrew, can we get this guy? And then Paul DePodesta shows numbers and goes, here's what we can do. Offer him this, offer him that. And Andrew Berry's just relaying messages from Paul DePodesta, essentially. So Paul DePodesta got in Jimmy Haslam's ear, and that's why we got Deshaun Watson. Again, I'm not knocking the move whatsoever. I can only judge a player based on their talent. Deshaun Watson has it through and through. You can't grade a guy with what's going on between his ears. He was just lost mentally, and that's nothing. There's nothing you could do about it. I did not expect that. I thought he's a pro athlete. He'll pay these women off. Done deal. He was never the same player. But again, to the Browns fans that booed him when he was injured, to the Browns fans that defended, shitting on him when he was hurt, and now he's more than likely again done for his career as a Cleveland Brown. Why do you hate a guy? If you're an actual Cleveland Browns fan, why do you hate a guy who gave you everything that he had? Deshaun Watson did not miss practice. Deshaun Watson was never called a bad guy from any teammates, anybody. He showed up to work every day, busted his ass, got beat the fuck out of in many games this year. We led the league in QB hits. If you want to blame the O-line, you want to blame Deshaun Watson, that is what it is. But he took beatings, and he kept getting up. There were games against the Cowboys. We were getting blown out. Deshaun Watson still in there taking hits, still trying to just get a point on the board for the city of Cleveland. He would show frustration when passes didn't go his way. He wanted to win. He's a competitor. He literally gave Cleveland everything he had. He's taken 2 career or season-ending injuries. He sat through the suspension. He got shit talked by everybody and their brother, whether it be on social media. I'm sure on the field, the shit talking he hears is terrible. The fans from the crowd, whether it's home, whether it's away. He's a great teammate. And I love that too. I'm glad that the players came out and basically told the fans that they're pieces of shit. Because the teammates loved him. And everyone's like, oh, Myles Garrett said he was a good person, this and that. Yes, he was accused of some horrendous things, but none of that was ever criminally charged. There's no proof that anything ever actually happened. It's a he said, she said situation. We'll never know the truth. We never will. If you want my opinion, as we've said a million times, I think he's just a pro athlete who had sex with a lot of women because that's what pro athletes do. And these women saw an opportunity to get the lawyer of the neighbor of the Texans owner to represent them to make some money because those massages were set up by the Houston Texans. Does this seem like a little bit of an inside job? Sure. Do I think 9/11 was an inside job? Maybe. Depends on the day. But I'm not a big conspiracy guy. But so
where's Conspiracy Carl? This is a great segment for him.
He needs to come out. But you know my stance on the Deshaun Watson thing. I'm not victim blaming, but there's a lot of fishy things that happen in that story. And again, it ruined the guy's career. He was never the same. But again, for Cleveland fans that hated him, that dude tried. He came out and wanted to win more than anything for this city. He tried.
So
yeah, exactly. No, it's my new thing to do conspiracies.
Here's my 2 cents on it. And I think this is kind of where I think most Cleveland fans are coming from is the fact that we as a fan base look for a reason to just be pissed, right? I think that's just who we are in general. Exactly. We need to have a vent or an outlet to voice our frustration. And Watson was a very easy target. Do I think Watson is a piece of shit human being? Potentially, probably, maybe, right? Do I think Deshaun Watson is a very talented football player, a very good teammate to his other teammates? Absolutely. Both answers have a yes to them, right? They can both be correct.
Two things can be true.
Absolutely. But we weren't paying him because of what he was off the field. I get it. We brought in this person that had some questionable moral standards, did some questionably moral things down in Houston or whatever happened. But we were paying that guy to throw a football, to be on the football field, to lead this team, and to be the best quarterback behind center, right? So I don't like him personally. I would never probably be friends with the guy, but I don't think anything he's shown on the field deserved him to get booed. You can hate the guy all you want to. And I said this in a post after it happened. You can hate a guy all you want to. That's fine. But never ever cheer for someone to get injured. It pisses me off. Like I saw a lot of people I know be like, oh, I'm hoping for Deshaun Watson injury, or I'm so glad he got hurt, or this is amazing. Like, why would you wish it on somebody? Because what if you go get hit by a car tomorrow, or you tear something, or you blow your knee out, or you pop your back out? Are you going to want people sitting and looking at you laughing at that because that one person thought it was funny? Like, come on, let's just think long term here. I believe in karma. I really do. I think that what you put out in the world, you get back. Might not be the right time, might not be in the same week, month, year, but it eventually comes back around to you. And that's just bad. That's just a bad look. As a human being to another human being, you never wish someone to get hurt. I wish him all the well. It sucks it couldn't work out here in Cleveland. Am I excited to get somebody new under center? Yes. I'm glad that we're going a different direction with the offense. That I'm happy about. And if that's what you're cheering about, that's fine. Do what you have to, because we want to see what this team has underneath somebody else, but never ever cheer somebody getting hurt. And I was pissed. I was real pissed. I think I texted you and told you the same thing. I'm like, this is fucking, I was fighting fights all week about this with people.
Yeah. I mean, for me, again, when I landed, I had to watch clips and see, Cleveland fans booing or cheering as Deshaun Watson gets carted off field. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, don't get me wrong. I know people didn't like him, but again, to show the hypocrisy and to show how stupid Cleveland fans are, these were the same people who love Kareem Hunt, who were pissed that we didn't re-sign Kareem Hunt last year. Kareem Hunt is on video kicking a woman. What she said was wrong, sure, but she said something mean to him. He kicked her.
We also have a statue of a guy who was very, 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 very rude and beat women up and threw them out windows and whatever else. But hey, Jim Brown,
accused of rape, he beat a woman. Yeah, he did multiple things. We have a statue of him. But when Deshaun Watson came to the Browns, there were people going, oh, I stopped watching when they signed Watson because they sold their soul. It's like, you do realize there's a statue of a guy with a really bad history there too.
Do we forget that our current starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns also has a sexual harassment or a sexual assault case against him?
Yeah.
What's that?
Somebody tweeted the other day, they're like, oh, the Browns switched from one rapey quarterback to a less rapey quarterback.
But what's funny to me is that no one's talking about that. But yay, Winston.
Steve, what's up? I saw your text. I didn't get a chance to text you back yet, Steve. We got a late start today. I was taking care of Teddy so Tara could work. Steve was texting me about the When We Were Young Fest next year. Blink-182 will be a part of it in Vegas. I would love to go, but the only thing is it's right around my anniversary because obviously my anniversary is in October. So that's when I gotta run by the boss here to see, and I don't think she would be too interested in spending. Maybe. I mean, they're all bands. There's a lot of bands on there that we listen to together, so maybe I can sway her. I got to show her the lineup. But we'll talk, Steve. I'll text you again as soon as the show ends. But yeah, again, say what you will about Deshaun Watson. Totally fair. You don't have to like him as a person. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan, though, I'm the kind of guy I root for the name for the team overall. I can look past certain things that people do. It is what it is. For me, it's sports. Sports are entertainment. That's it. If you personally go, I'm not watching on Sunday because they have Deshaun Watson, that does not affect the Cleveland Browns one bit. There's not enough people that are going to boycott to affect them. They're going to make money. They're going to be fine ratings-wise. It doesn't matter. So to boo a guy who, again, Deshaun Watson gave the city of Cleveland and the Cleveland Browns everything he had. His Achilles ruptured. His shoulder fucking broke till he had to get surgeries. He gave everything he had. It just didn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out. He didn't come here like Johnny Manziel and not practice and not pay attention to the playbook. He was a great teammate. He busted his ass. He played every fucking game that he could until he physically couldn't anymore. And fans were like, fuck this guy. So it's just like we said, misery, or people just love being miserable in Cleveland. Same thing happened last year. Watson gets hurt. Flacco comes in. Flacco plays well. Instead of enjoying what Joe Flacco's doing, they're just going, we should have Flacco start over Watson next year. They're looking to the future of replacing Watson. They're so focused on the misery part, they're not worried about anything else. Same thing with Jameis. Jameis had one good game, and fans are already going, oh, they should have started him since week 2. Now this week, against... People don't really know this, I don't think. The Chargers have a really fucking good defense. I think they've given up, what was the stat I saw? They've given up 6 points this year or some shit. Like, maybe not 6, but it was something ridiculous. They have a very, very, very good defense. And let's say, though, they don't drop the interceptions like they did last week against Baltimore. Fans are going to be on here going, oh, what the fuck? Jameis Winston's not as good as we thought. But for right now, they're prisoners of the moment. So they're, of course, in love with him, and they're saying he's so much better than Watson. They should have started him since day one. You know, this fucking team's a bunch of idiots, blah, blah, blah. It's just Cleveland can't just be happy.
As a fan of football, if you don't understand what you're getting with Winston, then I don't know what to tell you. They don't. 5,000 yards, most passing yards, most interceptions in the same season. That's your quarterback right now. He's going to take chances. He's going to put the ball in the air. But that ball going in there has a lot of fucking risk of going the other way.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton, he had the easiest interception I've ever seen and dropped it.
I mean, there was no Brown around him. That was passed right to him. I mean,
it was one of the worst throws I've ever seen a quarterback make. Like, it wasn't even close to a Browns player. And then, of course, Jameis, because again, the Jameis Winston roller coaster, he throws the nearly game-ending interception and just goes, fuck it, let me throw a touchdown now, and then wins the game.
Tillman, right over down the middle. Tillman had a game. Welcome to the party, Tillman. I'm glad that we...
And that's another one, of course. Browns fans immediately just go, look at Tillman's numbers with Watson, look at him without. Like, you take into consideration, too, that Tillman's getting more snaps now because we had Amari Cooper. So Tillman wasn't really on the field much, so you can't hold that against Deshaun Watson.
Also, think about it. Winston and Tillman had a lot of reps together because they were both second
backups.
Teams. Yep. So they were always throwing to each other. So he's comfortable with Tillman.
Don't talk to Browns fans. That's logical. The Browns fans don't want to hear logic. So, you know, the Browns win. You know, we'll recap that a little bit. Browns do beat the Baltimore Ravens in a game that, you know, for me, I said it on the TikTok that I made on Sunday afternoon. Kind of a who gives a fuck situation right now. It's our second win of the season. I'm not doing cartwheels over it.
I'd like to see you a cartwheel though.
Ain't gonna happen. You'll see me rake my leaves before you see me do a cartwheel. But the thing is, though, that do you really think Jameis Winston, but again, this just shows you Browns fans don't watch football. They watch the Browns. So they saw Jameis Winston, they go, this guy's great. He threw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Fuck, we'd be Super Bowl bound right now. There's a reason Jameis Winston hasn't started a game in 2 years. There's a reason Jameis Winston's on his, 3rd or 4th team or whatever. there's a reason we were able to get him on a 1-year deal as a backup, and no team in the NFL that has a really, really shitty starting quarterback, there's a lot of them, didn't look at him and go, hey, why don't you come in and compete for the starting job? Because they know what Jameis Winston is. So if you're a Browns fan and you think that all of a sudden now we're Super Bowl contenders because of one game from Jameis Winston, buckle up for Sunday is all I can say, because it's probably not going to be as fun.
Yeah, I mean, look, Winston is a okay quarterback, right? I think
he's fun. He's fun.
I think he can manage a game well. I think with the one thing that, here's two things I noticed, and here's some conspiracy theory to me too. I noticed that our offensive line, and I know moving Dawand Jones to left tackle was probably a great fucking move. I think would be a spot that he probably should stay at. But that offensive line protected Winston a lot better than they did Watson. And was it for whatever reason, the changing of what they did? Was it because the offensive line's like, nah, we kind of like this guy a little bit better? I don't know. It could be, right? But that gave him the time he needed to make those throws, right? I think if you had the line that Watson had the rest of the beginning of the season, Winston's not making those throws very much, right? But the other thing too is that I think Winston and Dorsey have a connection. I think Dorsey got those plays in pretty quickly. That they had time to get that holder broke, get to the line. This is one of the things I was reading an article about. It's like the communication aspect between Dorsey and Winston was on full display. They had the game plan, they had the play called, him to the line. He's able to check down, he's able to see reads, he's able to call protections quickly. The one thing that happened a lot with Watson is that they didn't have a lot of that time. They were getting pre-snap penalties. They weren't moving people around the line. They weren't getting the playoff in time sometimes, or not even if they were, it's rushed. So this is stuff that I'm hoping continues into this week's game. I don't know if it's going to, but it's like the perfect game plan was called for Winston on Sunday. I just hope that goes more. Now, I don't know. Did you see anything different with Dorsey's play calling versus Stefanski's? I don't know. I was going to ask you that question. I know you didn't watch the game live, but
yes and no.
You did watch it live, yeah.
Yes, yeah, I did. I watched that game on Sunday. So yes, that one, there were some differences, but there are many, many variables. So to kind of debunk your conspiracy and everyone's conspiracy of the offensive line, not to get too nerdy or anything, but Dawand Jones was hurt when Dawand Jones was playing right tackle. It showed. He was slow. He didn't have that quick step. Because of Jack Conklin being back and because of Jedrick Wills being healthy at the time, Dawand Jones had weeks to get healthy. That was huge. Wyatt Teller missed a month or so. He was back healthy. Jack Conklin's healthy. He's now had a few weeks to get repetitions. Nick Chubb, healthy, getting better by the week. Nick Chubb statistically put up one of the best, I think, per rush numbers against the Ravens of any team this year. Any running back so far this year against the Ravens run defense. And he didn't even have that great of a game, but just because of how good their run defense is, he had one of the better games for a running back against them. That opens up your offense when you actually have a running threat. The offensive line was healthy as it's been, so those things are huge. Watson never had that. Our offensive line was a fucking mismatch, hodgepodge of whomever you could get a warm body out there. Our run game was the same way. You had Jerome Ford, who I don't think is a very good running back. I think he's a decent backup, but that's it. You have Deontay Foreman, who, same thing. He's a decent backup, but nothing more. And you had Nick Chubb for, I think, a half, not even for Deshaun Watson against the Bengals before Watson got hurt. He got hurt right before halftime, right?
Yeah, maybe. No, third quarter, I think.
Was it the third? Okay, so he had a half of Nick Chubb, who, as everyone can see, Nick Chubb is still not 100%, but he's gotten better. He looked much better this week than he did against Cincinnati. So you have all these perfect things aligning. And again, you had the Ravens drop 3 to 4 interceptions from Jameis Winston. You had the Ravens drop 3 or 4 wide open passes on offense. Yes, the Browns dropped a couple interceptions also. I'm not disputing that. But that game could have been a lot uglier than the final score was. We got very, very lucky on that win. So for Browns fans, I think that is a sustainable way to win in the NFL every week. Again, you don't know Jameis Winston. You got another thing coming. We're without Denzel Ward again, who is, of course, again, in concussion protocol. Our best linebacker, JOK, has a bad neck injury. I was truthfully worried that he broke his neck when they showed the replay and his fucking neck.
Henry ran him over.
I had a buddy that texted me, and he was like, he's a big conspiracy guy and like probably thinks the Guardian caps are lame. So he's like, bet he stops wearing the Guardian cap. And I text him back. I'm like, maybe watch the replay again. I said, that's a neck injury. Nothing to do with his fucking helmet. And then he was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I didn't notice that," because I didn't mean it, but I over exaggerated. I texted back and I'm like, "Yeah, I think he broke his neck. That has nothing to do with the helmet he was wearing." And he's like, "Oh shit, are you seeing that somewhere that he broke his neck?" I'm like, "Well, no, but his neck snapped back and they put him on a fucking stretcher." So I'm kind of piecing the things together. They typically don't put you on a stretcher when you get a concussion unless you look like Tua.
I mean, good for that guy, the little guy, to go after that big dude. But I mean, Henry's the whole.
JK ain't scared of shit.
He's a beast, man. What that? Whew.
And then
looking
I love
looking at Henry on the sidelines, man. Like because we're on the Ravens sideline, looking at him is like that. That's it's a big dude, big dude.
I love seeing Grant Delpit when Grant Delpit fucking trucked him the one time and did like told everybody that he was small.
Yeah.
And then everyone immediately like went viral and people were like, "We'll see how well this ages." And then the Browns fucking win and people were like, "That aged pretty well, I guess." So yeah, big win for the Browns. The play calling is officially in Ken Dorsey's hands. Kevin Stefanski has stepped down as play caller, as I'm sure everybody saw. Stefanski's been pretty open about it and told everybody like yes, Ken Dorsey is the play caller, but it's still a collaborative effort. And he was like, we work really well together, and I think it showed on Sunday. Everybody was in great flow with each other. So the Browns do beat the Ravens. Nice little win in the division to go to 2-6. Again, I think the season's just about over at this point. I'm more focused on a draft pick for a quarterback because I want the team to get better immediately. And the more wins you get in a meaningless season, let's say we go 7 and how many games do you play? 7 and 9. Or wait, no, it'd be 7 and 10. So let's say they go 7 and 10. I don't really want to win those extra 5 games because then you're kind of sitting in like the teens. I'd rather just if we're not making the playoffs, give me a fucking top 5 pick. That's where I'm at. All or nothing. You're either a playoff team or fucking don't bother. But that's just me. You freeze up? Oh no, there you froze up.
I was reading something because I was just trying to remember something, but no, I'm with you. I don't know. I don't even want a quarterback out of this draft class because nobody to me, people are so high and people I just don't think would be good quarterbacks in the NFL. Like Shedeur Sanders, no, please, no. The dude out of Miami,
like Shedeur Sanders.
The dude out of Miami, what's his name?
Cam Ward is not consistent enough.
No.
He's the guy that I don't think he can come in and be good right off the rip. Again, the Browns are in a situation where we need a guy who's good today.
Yeah, that's not
there's
somebody
not
in this draft
coming out of this draft.
Is Quinn Ewers coming out? I mean, maybe Quinn Ewers.
He should. Carson Beck, Drew Adler, who we'll see on Saturday for Penn State. Cleveland local, actually. So a lot of people are making the joke of bring Drew home. There's pictures of him as a child dressed up as Brady for Halloween and shit like that.
That story always works when we bring people back home to the Cleveland.
Yeah, Browns. I mean, what could go wrong? It's just he gets the most amount of pressure on him, and then the fans turn on him. I mean, that won't happen here. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Again, I'm not in love with any of the quarterbacks either, but we are in a situation where we're kind of desperate. So they're going to have to. The funny thing is, Browns.
We tank 2 years in a row and go for Archie in 2 years. Is that possible? Arch?
They could try. I mean, there's never say never. I just look at it though as we've gone the last 3 years without a first round pick. So if we take a swing on a quarterback, there's worse ways to use a first round pick, as we've shown. Sure. So I'm okay with that. So we'll switch gears here really quick. We've got a lot of catching up to do with we'll skip week 7 recap because that was 2 weeks ago. Who gives a shit? We'll go right into week 8. So we had Thursday Night Football. I got to pull up the picks here because I truthfully did not write anything down. So I'll write them up. We're going to do them live on the fly. I'm going to pull up my text thread from Kyle here. And we have, let me go all the way up and find them. We text a lot.
Did we bring in the statue of Dwayne Wade to show by any chance? Because that's just worth talking about.
It doesn't belong. It doesn't deserve any spotlight on the show. It was bad. All right. So JG and Kyle, the current score, as we said when we were starting the show, at least we said it off air. Maybe I don't know if we said it on air. This is the score after week 7. Justin 79 and 43. Kyle 73 and 47. So he made a little bit of a comeback. So we get into Thursday Night Football. The Minnesota Vikings we both took. They lost. So Minnesota, and I knew I should have taken them. I told my buddy when I was down in the Dominican, as I was texting that to Kyle, I said, fuck, there's a legitimate curse that teams that play the Lions are like 0-7 in the next week. The Lions beat the shit out of teams. So if you face the Lions, especially on a short week, you're like 0-10. You do not win. And I was like, man, I really feel like I should have taken the Rams tonight. Then the game starts, and of course I go, yep, I should have taken the fucking Rams. But hindsight's always 20/20. So we both took Minnesota. That did not obviously work out. We both took the Jets. That did not work out either. But
We're on a roll. We're on a roll.
Who saw that? Who saw that train wreck coming? Don't get me wrong. I knew the Jets were going to suck. I actively root against them, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Like, I thought they literally might contend for a playoff spot at least. Nope. Boy, was I mistaken. I took the Eagles. Kyle took the Bengals. So that's a nice little W for me.
I took the
Cincinnati with. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading it backwards. Good call. Yep, my bad. I took the Bengals.
I was like, wait a minute. I know I got one there. Let's go.
Nope. I was looking at it backwards. I started off looking at yours, and then I write everything on the left column for me. So I just started instinctively doing it that way. So yeah, good call. So that's an X there for me, Cincinnati. Kyle gets Philly with a check. I'll stick to this till I remember who's who. The Packers we both took, and the Packers win. So Green Bay with a W over the Jacksonville Jaguars, 30-27. Pretty ugly game there with Jordan Love getting hurt. That hurt a parlay that I had. I needed him to throw for 225 yards. He ended the game with, I think, 198 and got hurt and did not play in the second, or basically most of the second half. We both took the Lions, and the Lions beat the absolute shit out of the Titans. Cool win. However, the Titans are hot dog water, so they're really fucking bad. So not that impressive. We both took the Falcons, and the Dirty Birds won pretty easily, if I'm not mistaken. Where's that score on there? Is that one missing? Oh, no. That was a closer game. Actually, no, it wasn't that close.
31-26.
The score looked better at the end, but it was never really that close. So a nice division win for Kirk Cousins. We both took the Dolphins, and the Dolphins lost the last second from a last-second field goal against Arizona. So Miami with a loss. Next up, we both took the Texans, and the Texans were able to pull out a W, and Anthony Richardson was benched. Who saw that coming? The guy's not very good. I tried to tell everybody before the draft. I tried to tell everybody after the draft.
I mean,
nobody would listen to me.
You try to
Stinks.
tap out of a game, bro. You're not going to last long in the NFL.
He stinks. He's a fucking bum. We both took the Chargers, and the Chargers were able to pull off the W over the lowly New Orleans Saints. Check mark all around. We both took the Bills. Bills beat the shit out of the Seattle Seahawks. In Seattle, it almost kind of felt like a Buffalo game. The fans traveled well out to Lumen Field. Shitty name. We both took the Bears, and the Bears lost to the Commanders. We both took the Bears kind of in. I had the thought that
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels wasn't going to play.
Also,
He played. Didn't really.
yeah, but also he played in that fucking Hail Mary is what cost us the game. So.
I was going to say, yeah, it didn't even really matter until he just threw that last pass, because I think they had all field goals up until that point. We both took the Broncos, and the Broncos and Bo Nix did win. The Broncos stink, but their defense is no fucking joke. Like, their offense is pretty trashy, but their defense is fucking legit. So they win. But again, not that impressive. You did it against the Carolina Panthers. And Bryce Young was starting again. We both took the Chiefs, and the Chiefs barely beat the Raiders. But a win's a win. We both took the 49ers, and the 49ers were able to beat the Dallas Cowboys 30-24. San Fran for both of us. And we both took the Steelers, and we both took the Ravens. So yeah, the only differences we had here, let me add up the scores really quick. So San Fran,
just one.
Pittsburgh, and Baltimore.
Somewhat
X's
closer
for both of us. So Kyle did gain a game, I believe. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 and 6. And Kyle went
11-5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, 11-5. Just I like to make sure the math is good. So Kyle gained a game. It is now a 5-game lead. This week, when we do picks, we are bringing back the spread. We will get a bonus pick. You lose nothing if you don't get it, but if you get it, you get an extra point. So with a record of 89 and 49 to Kyle at 84 and 52. We are, I fucked something up. That doesn't make sense. Oh, that's a 9. Sorry, 54. Sorry, 84 and 54. There we go. That makes sense. I can't read my own handwriting. It's atrocious. So that is where that's where we're at currently with the standings, and we'll do the week 9 picks at the end, and we will add I already have my pick. I looked it up in advance, and I saw the spread, and I like it. We are going to get now into a little bit of baseball talk. The World Series is actually underway right now.
Winning.
Are they already?
3-0.
Oh, shit,
3-0. I think Judge already has 2 home runs.
Really?
No, Judge has 1, and then Chisholm has them back-to-back.
Okay. Well, good for the Yankees. Only because it's cool for LA to win it at home. So that'll be nice. They get to go back for a game 6, and they'll win it in Los Angeles. That'll be very nice for them. And I hope that's exactly how that goes. Because I fucking hate the Yankees. So obviously the Guardians just stood no chance against them. I know we're 2 weeks behind almost, but the Guardians literally had no chance against the Yankees. They tried, and they clawed. That game with the walk-off home run from David Fry, the game-tying home run from Jhonkensy Noel was one of the coolest games I've ever seen, and it was all for naught in the grand scheme of things. I angrily was tweeting about the series because that's what I do. It seems to help. I even texted you about it, and I was like, I'm going to be talking mad shit because for some reason when I talk shit, the Guardians win. So I was ripping them and roasting them, and I was being sincere, though, on Friday. So I believe that game was on a Thursday night, the Jhonkensy Noel home run night, and then Friday rolls around, and the whole time I'm just shitting on the Guardians. I'm shitting on them, and I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter what happened last night because they're going to lose tonight, and the season's over tomorrow, and then, who gives a fuck? And then sure enough, that all actually happened. So they tried, they fought, they clawed. I'll give them the utmost credit on that. There's only so much you can do in a small market team. I don't hold anything against the Guardians. I hold everything against the ownership. You know where I stand on that. They have some unbelievable talent. They did not really address the pitching situation, which when you lose your ace and Shane Bieber, that's huge. When you cannot depend because of an injury on Tristan McKenzie, who you had high expectations for. Logan Allen, same thing. A guy you had in your rotation you couldn't depend on. Tanner Bybee was decent in the playoffs. I don't think he's an ace, and he unfortunately had to be our ace. Matthew Boyd was great. They just didn't do enough to help the pitching situation. So then eventually your bullpen gets worn down. We had the best bullpen in baseball, and our bullpen had to come in the second and third inning of some of these games, and they just got worn out because
they got tired. Yeah.
The way Major League Baseball does this, they don't fuck around. There's no like MLB or NBA finals where you go game 2 days off, game 2 days off. Like it's game. You play 3 games in a row. So you really have to be smart about how you use your guys. And I think Stephen Vogt panicked at some situations. I think he made horrible decisions at points. I think that, first and foremost, yes, he hit a home run today. Good for him. Aaron Judge is a very, very bad playoff baseball player. Regular season, fantastic. Playoff baseball, shitty. Pitch to him. Don't pitch to Giancarlo Stanton. Who did they keep pitching to and who kept hitting home runs and killing us? Giancarlo Stanton.
And Juan Soto.
Yeah, and who else did they pitch to who kept crushing it? Juan Soto, one of the best players in baseball. Those were the guys you kind of need to dance around, and we went after them hard, and they made us pay. For me, I don't know if that's a Stephen Vogt issue. I don't know if that's a Carl Willis issue. Who's telling these guys how to approach these batters? But whoever was doing it, shame on you because you had it all fucking wrong. Giancarlo Stanton, for some reason, comes alive in the playoffs. He's not a very good regular season player at this stage of his career. Regular postseason, stud. And the Guardians just kept daring him and missing, and he just kept making us pay, and they did not seem to learn a lesson. So, youth and experience. You have a rookie manager who won Manager of the Year. Kudos to Stephen Vogt. But again,
good for him.
Individual awards don't really mean anything for me unless it's Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL, and I can rub it in Steeler fans' faces. Manager of the Year doesn't mean anything for me in baseball. So he won it. Cool. Means nothing. Whatever. Season's over. I'm bummed. I was pissed off.
I mean, they have to address the starting pitching going into next year. I don't know if you're going to get the same bullpen back. We might have some different pieces in the bullpen. I think you need to get maybe some veteran presence in the bullpen. I like the rookies. I like the young kids, but you got to bring somebody in. Class A has to not take away from Class A, but I don't know what the man was thinking. I don't know why pitches were being called for him, why he was saying yes to him. I thought he was trying to be cute when he shouldn't have been, but that man got mentally fucked in the head those last couple of games, I think. And I think
he took the worst opportunity to do what he didn't do in the regular season. He was outside of his own game, which is a very weird timing to do that. You're in the fucking playoffs, and hell yeah, Grant Williams hit 2 threes. I needed that. Very weird timing to not be yourself in a situation where you were the best closer in baseball by a fucking mile. You broke the Guardians' single season record for saves, and you go to the playoffs and you're kind of too cocky. Do what got you there. He was way too cocky. He was not throwing his normal pitches. I think in the one sequence he threw how many fucking sliders in a row or whatever that one of them got just tattooed. He gave up back-to-back home runs for a guy who barely gave up home runs. Just didn't make sense. And as you said, why are you okaying that? Why are you saying, yeah, I think that's a good idea. This is something I don't normally do, but what's at stake? It's just the fucking ALCS. Let's try it.
Why is it sorry, I'm confused. It's telling me the Yankees game's already over. That's so weird. Anyways.
They have no faith in the Dodgers coming back. They called it.
But no, I think that I'm curious to see what we do in the offseason. We're not making any big moves. We're not going to be signing anybody big at least. But I do think there's a way to strategically bring in some more pieces to help that pitching rotation. I'm really curious to see what we do. I mean, do we need a big bat? Do we lean on Noel? Is Noel our big bat now? I mean, what do you think? Is he capped at what we can get out of him, or can he be an everyday DH big home run hitter for us, you think?
I think he should be I'm okay with him playing in right field. I think he's a good enough right fielder, and he's got a cannon for an arm. So I'm okay with him playing. In terms of batting, great to see him crushing home runs. He had a couple cold spells last year, but he was a rookie, so I'm not going to hold that against him. Knowing the Guardians, though, it's an interesting situation they're in because you have sorry, I'm checking the Cavs score. Cavs are up by 20. I would definitely like to see that.
I don't. I wanted some more starters time. I had some bets from that game, and now I think they're benching starters right now.
The only thing I needed LeBron to get 6 rebounds, and I'm kind of giving up on that. I think he's got 2, so I'm already over that. But the thing is with the Guardians, all I can really assume is that the offseason, as you said, we'll sign some guys that we've really never heard of, some cheap, low budget moves, under the radar moves, guys that might not even make the roster, mostly bullpen. If I had to guess, I'd have to look at who we're going to lose in the offseason. But I mean, Cade Smith was a rookie, so he'll be back. A lot of your bullpen guys are young. Starting pitching, I think, is the biggest need. Obviously, we need offense too because our offense sucked in the playoffs for the most part, except for a few guys. Josh Naylor can go. I'm over him.
Oh,
that experience done.
Bo Naylor too. Take him with you.
He had some good hits against the Yankees. I was going to bring him up next. He had some good hits, some clutch hits against the Yankees. Bo Naylor did, but overall, I've seen enough of Bo Naylor to know that he's not a good enough catcher. His defense isn't good enough to make up for his lack of offense, so he can go. Like Roberto Perez was garbage on offense for the most part, except for one good year in his career, but he was great on defense. Same thing with Austin Hedges. Austin Hedges has made an MLB career by being a terrible batter, but a good defensive catcher.
If we could target a catcher who can hit and that'd be a great position to go after. As a catcher who has a good bat, right, but good on defense, that would fill the big hole at that bottom of that lineup.
Yeah. So right now, the way I look at the lineup would be assuming we're not making any big moves because I don't expect the Guardians to do that. I think because we're now no longer a part of Bally's, the Guardians are going to cry poor. They're going to come out the Dolans in their meeting in the offseason. They're going to say, well, we don't have that money coming in anymore from Bally's, so we have to be careful with what we spend, and we're not going to do anything. Even though they made a shitload of money, they're very profitable. I'm going into it assuming that we are going with the status quo, and we will be a farm team like we've always been. So you'll go Stephen Kwan in left. You'll go Lane Thomas in center. Right field will be Noel slash. I think you bring up Chase DeLautner will be your right fielder. I think he's earned it. You go third base, obviously Jose Ramirez. Shortstop will be Brian Rocchio, unless you. Well, Andres Jimenez is a guy that I love defensively, but I think they could move on from him because Travis Bonanza has got to play. You got to bring him up.
Jimenez is what? He's a Gold Glover, isn't he?
He's a platinum glover. Fantastic.
Platinum Glover. Yeah.
Offensively, trash. He was an automatic out this year. He never got it together. I kept watching us in the playoffs thinking, here's our veteran. Here's Andres Jimenez. He's been with this team for a while now after the Lindor trade. He's like the captain of the team, if you will, him and Jose. I'm like, this dude's going to pull it together. He never did shit. He really is just I don't know if it's a fluke. Was it a 1 year thing? He's just had a down year, or is that just who he is now? Josh Naylor, as I said, he can go. I've seen enough of that guy. He had a really good regular season, but I won't name names on who I talked to about this, and I will preface with these are all allegedly. Reason to believe, just based on his looks and his demeanor, that he might be a closeted alcoholic because he put on 20 plus pounds in the regular season. He went from being the most happy fucking baseball player I've ever seen to one of the gloomiest looking dudes in the world. I don't know what caused that other than some sort of depression. And I'm not saying give up on the guy because he has something wrong with him mentally, but if he can't get himself out of that rut that he's in, then yeah, no, I don't want him on my baseball team every day. So I would say Kyle Manzardo becomes your everyday first baseman. I think he earned that. He's young. He's a guy you traded for specifically to be your everyday power hitting first baseman. So I would go with Manzardo at first base, and then that's where you could probably go DH would be Jhonkensy Noel or Josh Naylor if you keep both of them. So be it. You could kind of pick and choose. You got a right-hander and a left-hander. You can pick and choose which DH you have. You could throw Naylor at first for a day off for Manzardo. You can put Noel in right field for a day off for DeLautner. Or if you want to platoon DeLautner and Noel because they're both young and inexperienced, sure, I get it.
That man, him just towards the end, I feel like he gained 35 pounds from the start of the season to the end of the season. He used to be a guy who he'd get a hit and he's out there fist pumping. He did the rock the baby to Garrett Cole. Did he even fucking smile in the playoffs against the Yankees? Like I'd never seen him, a guy like that. I'm not saying I don't want him on my team because he's not happy, but like you saw that photo of him right after they won the ALDS where he's sitting there
chugging beer. Yeah.
Well, no, where he sat there and like he had like a beer in his hand, 2 beers in his hand, and 1 beer sitting on his hat, and then he was just like dead face stare forward, and someone took a photo of it. Like he looks fucking miserable. There's
something off with him. So again, they need to get that figured out, or he should not be back, if I'm being honest. But that's just assuming that's me assuming they're not going to do anything. But we still need help on the bench because our bench was fucking terrible. David Fry was a very fluky hitter. Will Brennan, I've seen enough of. He can fucking go. Yeah. Most of the guys we were bringing in off the bench, except for like Manzardo and Noel, depending on who was playing, those guys obviously I want starting realistically. But we'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath. I'm going into the offseason as the biggest move we're gonna make is we're gonna re-sign Shane Bieber to a very, very team-friendly contract because he's got really nowhere else to go. So I think that's gonna be the biggest move we make is Shane Bieber, who will.
And what Shane Bieber are we gonna get? Right? Are we gonna get the Shane Bieber gold, or
he'll be lucky to play half the year, and I'm okay with that. Don't rush him back. If you can stay afloat in for a playoff spot, and then you get Shane Bieber back around the All-Star game, I'm cool with that. But they got to do something. They got to get somebody else. I mean, you got Matthew Boyd, who is coming off a not horrific, it's Tommy John surgery, but for a pitcher, that's a huge injury. He was really good for us in the playoffs, but you got that. And then you got the other guy, I forgot his name off the top of my head. I'm having a brain fart completely. The dude we traded for, the pitcher who got shelled against the Yankees and came out with an injury.
Alex
Cobb, that's it. I couldn't think of his fucking name. Alex Cobb is not coming back. He's a goner. So we traded for him. That didn't work out. That was a waste of a trade. So yeah, your bullpen or your starting rotation. Do you trust Tristan McKenzie again? Do you trust Logan Allen? Do you trust Ben Lively or Gavin Williams or Joey Cantillo? Like, I don't. I think we still need to make some moves. I don't trust these guys.
I don't think I don't think we have a choice. I don't think we're making any moves. If anything, it's minor moves.
It's going to be guys that are like, we'll bring in guys on minor league contracts and they're going to play really well. And we go, oh shit, this guy kind of worked out. But yeah, no, I'm not holding my breath for anything big in the offseason. It would be nice, but I'm so used to it as a Guardians fan. I'm not expecting it. The Cavs, as we said, the Cavs are up by 20 points right now, 21 or no, 20 against the Lakers.
Has Bronny played at all?
I don't know. I would assume so. That we're up by
what a sham of a deal. You heard the story
about 25.
You hear the story about how the Lakers have now decided that after this road trip, they're going to float Bronny between the G League and the league and the NBA. Like, bro, you wasted a second round draft pick on this kid, right? I get why you did it, but now you have the most guaranteed contract, highest paid G leaguer going down to play G League because we know he's not good. He's gonna get his ass rocked in the G League too. Like I don't know. What a publicity stunt put on by the Lakers. It's so annoying.
No, it was great. It was just, they did that as a favor for LeBron, and then this is where they make their move. I mean, to their credit, everyone said that was a horrible decision to bring in Bronny James. Yes, they're getting their asses kicked right now. They're getting their doors blown off by the Cavaliers. Cavs are no joke. Cavs are 5-0 now after tonight. I'm counting this as a W. Kenny Atkinson has turned this team around. They look like they're having fun again. We talked about it last year a little bit with JB Bickerstaff. I don't think JB Bickerstaff's a bad coach at all. But I do think the issue with JB Bickerstaff was he wore out his welcome. And that can happen. When you're not progressing, look at Tito Francona. I love Tito Francona, one of the best managers of all time. So happy that he was a part of the Cleveland Guardians Indians history. He wore out his welcome in Cleveland. Guys were kind of sick of the whole small ball, and he's sticking with Miles Straw. Like, the other players see that. No offense to Miles Straw. He's a great defensive player. He's a gold glove center fielder. But when he's batting every day and you see other guys who are like, dude, I'm so much fucking better than this guy, you kind of go into a situation of, this manager doesn't really know what he's fucking doing. He's kind of playing favorites. And then you wear out your welcome. I'm not saying JB Bickerstaff was doing that because he had a pretty decent rotation. He tried to get everybody included. And
did he, though? I think that's what shot him in the foot, I'll be honest. I don't think he made great in-game decisions. He stuck with the rotation that he ran with, right? That's one thing with him is he stuck with the rotation. I think the one thing you're seeing with Kenny is the fact that he's making in-game adjustments with what's working and what's not just sticking to a rotational plan. That's just what I'm seeing so far. It's only 5 games or 4 games because I haven't watched his game tonight yet.
So I think Bickerstaff had moments where he was decent with that because I mean think about where the phrase Cavalanche came from. That was with JB Bickerstaff as the head coach. So there were moments where the Cavs would go on a like 20-0 run with JB Bickerstaff. I think he knew what he was doing. I mean, look at the game Dean Wade had where we beat the Celtics in Cleveland. He went with Dean Wade where most people were probably like, what the fuck are you thinking? Dean Wade's a bum. Why are you doing this? Dean Wade was the killer. He destroyed Boston that night. So he made some good decisions. It was just more so we didn't have guys he could trust. So JB Bickerstaff would put a lot of trust in some veteran players who would backfire. Max Strus would go cold, and that would really cost us. You could get Max Strus to give you 20 points one night, 15 points one night, and then he'll give you 6 points the next night. You can't have that with a guy who's your starter. Isaac Okoro, same thing. Isaac Okoro one night is shooting the lights out. The next night, you're lucky if you get 2 points out of him. George Niang. George Niang went from a decent role player to one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen in the playoffs. But JB Bickerstaff, he was like, hey, you're a veteran. I can trust you. You've gotten us this far. Go in the game. Oh, shit, you're literally costing us games because you're so fucking bad at basketball. So it's like, it's kind of tough, especially in the playoffs, to make that kind of adjustment of, hey, now I have to go to a guy who I've barely played in the regular season, and I have to depend on him for a playoff series because these guys I can't trust anymore. So it's a double-edged sword. Don't get me wrong. JB he wasn't perfect, but at the same time, he did not have dependable, reliable players. So it was a good separation between the two. And I don't know if you saw it when they played the Pistons the other night. They interviewed JB before the game and they asked him about all the rumors that came out after the season ended. And JB was like, I have no ill will or bad things to say about anybody. He's like, I'm still close with those guys. I still talk to Jared Allen all the time. I do not have any issues with the way the season ended and what happened with the players and blah, blah, blah. Is it, word salad? Is he just saying the right things because he's a coach? Probably. But we'll never know the truth. What he did was professional, and I wish him the best in Detroit. Just wasn't going to work here. He was welcome, and I think that's what happens with coaches every once in a while. And we'll see. This Cavs team so far, 5-0. They are now up by almost 40. So not
what
bad.
What a team. What a team, man.
I'm sorry, 30. I don't know math. Yeah, but no, they're kicking some ass. Tristan Thompson's getting some minutes. That's when you know the game's out of reach. And to your question, Bronny James has not checked in the game yet, but there is 9.5 minutes to go, and the Cavs are up by, again, almost 30 points. So I think Bronny will be in sooner rather than later.
Get him a double-double. There's that bet out there. I think it's like plus some astronomical amount that if Bronny James scores a double-double.
Himself a McDouble. That's about it. He will literally never get a double-double in his career. He'll never get one even in the G League. Yeah, but I don't think my 6 rebound performance from LeBron's going to happen either.
I needed 6 assists out of him. I don't think he even has that.
He has. Oh, they took him out of the game.
He had 3 assists.
Oh shit! He got 6. He got 6 rebounds. He hit it. 6 rebounds, 3 assists.
Woo!
Thank you, LeBron. So yeah, the Cavs, they've officially gone to the benches in that game, which is great. But the Cavs did not. They still have Donovan Mitchell on the court. I don't like that. Get those guys off the fucking court. All right. So yeah, I talked a little bit of everything. We did start really late. We're not going to go a full 2-hour episode. So we will get into picks right now and we'll wrap up this episode, hopefully pretty quickly. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, 100% George. I said the same thing. I'm actually kind of irritated. I tweeted it out earlier. I was like, you have LeBron James returning to Cleveland with Bronny James for the first time ever. How is this not a nationally televised game?
They knew that they'd blow him out. That's why.
Even still, I couldn't believe this game was not a nationally televised game. I honest to God, I was fucking shocked. Speaking of shocked, and JB Bickerstaff, we were just talking about him. His Pistons are up by 16 against the Philadelphia 76ers right now.
Yeah, but what the hell, man? Is what's his face hurt? I needed a double-double in one bet and 10 points in another for Jalen Duren. He's got no points.
Oh, Jalen Duren.
Yeah, Duran, sorry.
He has, let's take a look. I don't even know his stat box here. Let's take a look. He hasn't even shot once. He's 0 for 0 points.
So does it get voided then maybe if he hasn't even been on the court?
He's played. He's out there. He's got six assists. He's playing the game. He just hasn't shot the ball once.
That motherfucker.
Yeah, he's played. Oh, maybe he did get hurt. He has 11 minutes.
God damn it.
No, that wouldn't make sense because he still has 6 rebounds. Oh, he fouled out. He has 6 personal fouls. So he got 6 rebounds, 0 points, never shot once, fouled out. So yeah, you're not getting that, safe to say. Sorry about your luck.
I have another bet going where I need 5 more points out of.
Yeah, the Lakers are making a comeback, even though they've cleared their bench, except for Bronny.
What I need 5 more points out of Brunson, I think, not Brunson, but Jaylen Brown. 5 more points out of Jaylen Brown for $112. So let's go.
Okay, not bad. I need Jalen Ivey to get me. I need him to get 4 rebounds. He has 2. So we'll hope.
And the good thing is that the Celtics are losing, so the Celtics are going to play. Their starters are going to keep playing pretty hard here. So
100%. They're going to try to make a comeback. So no question about that. All right. Well, yeah. With that being said, let's get into our Week 8 picks. Yeah, I have Jaden Ivey at 4 rebounds. He has 2 in the fourth quarter. I have Jason Tatum with 7 rebounds. I need. He has 6. I had LeBron at 6 rebounds. He has 5. He had 6. And then I have DeAndre Ayton for 10 rebounds. I had that as a plus 478 parlay. So we'll see if Ivy can get those 2 extra rebounds that I need him to get, but we'll see. I followed a guy who posts the weird stats, and even though it's only 4 games into the season for them, he has gotten 4 rebounds 100% of the time this year. So he was doing a 100% parlay. So I was like, fuck it, I'll tail that.
Bro, I downloaded this app called LineMate. And I know it's not like, obviously, you don't know what's going to happen in a current game, but what it does is it goes and pulls in different stats, and you can kind of filter it by whatever. So you can filter it by the last 7-8 games this person's played, or maybe it's the last 5 games against this opponent they've played, but it'll tell you like their stat line for like what they've hit. So like, for example, last week, whatever, you want to pick a random player, like, I don't know, Saquon Barkley's has hit 7 out of 7 games, 50 some yards rushing, right? So if you pick a stat line, it's 50 yards rushing, you pretty good numbers, and you build that into a parlay. It's kind of cool. I mean, I've hit some good bets on just going off these statistics. It's pretty awesome.
Trying to remember who it was that I followed. I think his name's Cody Brown. His Twitter account's like Cody Brown Bets or something like that. he does something very similar. So every night for matchups,
Oh,
he'll
he's
post
pretty
that.
good. Yeah, he's good.
He'll put, here's what a guy's done in his last 10 games, and here's what he's done in his last 10 games against this opponent.
Yeah.
So that's a really good one. I've won a lot of parlays because of
Did you
his.
get in
his
on the
cheat
tight
sheet.
end weekend last weekend? You see that one bet where the guy bet like what,
Fucking
12 tight
insane.
ends?
I didn't.
Yeah.
A couple touchdown parlays, and they all lost because of I had Saquon Barkley in like most of them, and he didn't score. I took Tyreek Hill because I was all excited that Tua was back, and Tyreek Hill, he conned me during the week. He was like, let me just tell you, if you've got me in fantasy, start me this week. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude, he's going to score. So I took Tyreek Hill. He did not score. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, we'll see what happens this week, and maybe I'll go for a little touchdown parlay. But as of right now, I am not having good luck. But speaking of football, we're going to get into picks here. We're going to do it to it. We start off always at Thursday Night Football. We save the Browns for last, and you guys know the rest. So, Texans heading to New York. The Q did a great intro for LeBron and Brownie. It's on Twitter. Pretty cool. I'll have to check that out. I know they did a really nice thing for all the people returning to Cleveland. They did. They said, like, welcome home, Bronny, welcome home, LeBron, and they did a welcome home for D'Angelo Russell because he played at Ohio State. So that was really nice. Make those guys feel loved. Hopefully some of them want to come play in Cleveland if the things in LA go south. But as of right now, I really don't think the Cavs need much. Obviously, that is something that's 5 games into the season could change rapidly. So we'll get into Thursday Night Football here. For some reason, I don't understand. The Texans are an underdog at 1.5 points because probably their weapons are garbage. They do not have Nico Collins. Stephon Diggs has torn his ACL. Last time CJ Stroud played in New York was last season. Their defense was much better. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. He played like shit. I think he got a concussion. He missed half the game. But before he got that concussion, he was terrible. I think it was actually the week before the Browns game because he got a concussion, and then we faced their backup the next week. But he did not look good. This Jets defense is a lot worse than they were last year. This Jets team as a whole is a lot worse than they were last year. They fired Robert Saleh. They traded for Devontae Adams. And since firing Robert Saleh, they are 0-3. So they actually have been worse without their former head coach. I don't know. I'm torn on who to pick in this one because Vegas is clearly showing you they don't believe the Texans can win. But then there's a part of me that goes, but the Jets are really fucking bad. I cannot in good faith take the Jets, though. The Jets are a dumpster fire. They fired their head coach. Aaron Rodgers is doing what Aaron Rodgers does. He's blaming everybody else. He's making excuses. I don't know if you heard his latest press conference. He was like, well, we're a couple plays away from being 4-4. We're a couple plays away from being 5-3. Like, he's just making all these excuses. He's also the same guy that threw Mike Williams under the bus immediately after that Raiders game. So I got to go with the Texans. I just think the Texans are a good team. I think this is a CJ Stroud breakout type of moment where, yes, you are down a couple weapons, but a good quarterback is going to power through that. So I am going with the Texans.
I'm surprised you're not taking the Texans in the spread here. I'll take the Texans plus the 2. I mean, why not? I think they win.
I'm torn on this one. I feel like Vegas knows something. That's why I'm like, is it going to, like, I didn't even look at the weather. Like, is it going to be a rainstorm or something? Like, what am I missing? Why they think the Texans, like, I would assume, I mean, even without Stephon Diggs and without Nico Collins, I would think the Texans would still be a favorite against the shitty Jets team. But I'm like, I don't know. Vegas is usually pretty good. So that's why I stayed away from this game.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna take the spread. I'm gonna take the Texans plus the 2 points. So
I'll circle that. Texans plus 2 for Kyle.
Yeah.
Then we get into Sunday. We've got the Dallas Cowboys against the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. For me, this is pretty easy. The Cowboys are really bad. I am going with the Atlanta Falcons.
What game did you
jump to? I'm just going left to right.
Oh, I'm on the ESPN app. That's why. Okay. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah. So if you look at the screen that George put up all the games.
Got it. Okay.
What he did.
Got it. Okay. So you went to Falcons?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I go with the Falcons on that one too. Cowboys are horrible.
Yeah, they are really trash. Next up, we have the Broncos and the Ravens. This is an interesting one. The Broncos look like they're a pretty decent team. Their defense is really good. Lamar Jackson did not practice today. Something to keep an eye on. However, I think the Ravens will bounce back, especially at home. I think that's going to be a tough environment for Bo Nix. I think the Ravens are pissed off that Jameis Winston just embarrassed them. And assuming, I'll put an asterisk on this, we have our first guest.
Say hi, Grady.
Assuming Lamar Jackson plays, I will take the Baltimore Ravens. If he does not play, give me the Broncos. So I'll preface that now.
All right, I'm gonna take the Ravens here. They also got Deontay Johnson in that trade, so they could new weapon for him to throw to.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like it's tough to get a wide receiver acclimated this quickly, as you see with Devontae Adams. With considering the history that Rodgers and Adams have together, and they're still struggling to get on the same page, makes me think that Deontay Johnson, who's kind of known as a headache wide receiver, it's going to take him a little bit of time to get acclimated. But big weapon for them. That's a huge move for the Ravens.
Yeah, I'll take the Ravens here though.
A lot of trades actually have been happening in the NFL, and the trade deadline is on Tuesday, so that's something to keep an eye on. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Someone said there's a rumor of potentially Tyreek getting traded to Houston with Diggs out.
I saw somebody make a joke about that, and they said something of like the Texans are about to send Laramie Tunsil back to Miami for Tyreek Hill.
Oh, is that the rumor? I just heard
somebody was just making like a joke. I haven't seen it from anybody like with credibility.
Okay. Yeah,
I just saw people making jokes about it because of the history. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, the Texans are clearly a team that needs to make a move, but I mean, Nico Collins isn't out for the year. He'll be back. Stephon Diggs is. Unfortunately for Diggs, he's on the last year of his contract, so really tough to be a 30-plus-year-old wide receiver who's coming off a torn ACL. However, he might be able to get that's a guy to keep an eye on for the Browns next year because, again, we're going to be really strapped for cash. So if he's willing to come here for cheap, rehab his knee a little bit, he won't be ready for the beginning of the season. So, something to keep an eye on. I'm not saying
Odell Beckham 2.0?
Less of a headache. Slightly less of a headache. Yeah, I could see Zadarius Smith to the Lions. Zadarius Smith is on the last year of his contract with the Cleveland Browns. Really no sense in keeping him. Let him get traded. If you can get a draft pick, take the draft pick. Otherwise, you get nothing out of him in the offseason. He's not a good enough player to get you a compensatory draft pick next year. So if you're going to get anything out of him, technically, I think he leads the team in sacks. He has more than Myles Garrett. But if you can get, a fourth round, fifth round pick, I would do that. I would trade Zadarius Smith for that. So we both have the Ravens there. Again, I'm putting an asterisk next to it for Bo Nix. Then the Dolphins take on the Bills. This is the game where I am going with the spread because even with Tua back, they did not look very good against the Arizona Cardinals. Tyreek Hill missed practice today with a foot injury. The Dolphins are just not a very good team. The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen look like a legitimate football team. Josh Allen's more than likely going to win MVP if he continues the way he's been playing. I am taking Buffalo minus 5.5.
I like it. Yeah, I'm taking the Bills.
I could see them winning by a touchdown. So that's who I'm going with, and Kyle will take the Bills straight up. Let me circle my money line there, or my spread. Next up, Saints and Carolina. This one is interesting. I think Derek Carr's still out. Have they announced their quarterback?
No, they're not sure yet, but I think he is still out.
This is tough. This is picking shit on shit. I guess they've announced Bryce Young is the starter again. I think Bryce Young is that bad. You just took away Deontay Johnson from him, who wasn't very good to begin with. The Saints defense is at least kind of good. I think that could overpower the Panthers if they create enough mistakes for Bryce Young. Give me the Saints.
I mean, they're 7.5-point favorites, the Saints are. So, I mean, clearly they knew something.
This one seems like a trap game, but I'll take the Saints.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints here too.
Okay. Next up, we have the Raiders and the Bengals. Even though their season is on the line, or basically over, Raiders have played well against some teams, but it is in Cincinnati. He's due this week, or he's out? Due to play? I don't know if that's a typo. Due to play. Okay. So yeah, I'm comfortable with the Saints. For this one, give me the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they win at home.
Yeah, I take the Bengals here too.
I'm not confident in this pick because of how bad the Bengals season has been, but it's just a smart pick. Next up, we have the Commanders at the Giants. Assuming Jaden Daniels is healthy, I am going to go with the Washington Commanders. I think the Giants are just a bad football team.
What a very overly hyped 6-2 team we have here.
Yeah, big time.
Jesus. Yeah, I take the Commanders here. Daniels is one of those wild card players, man. But yeah, if he plays, I'll take the Commanders here.
Next up, the Titans and the New England Patriots. Interesting. Drake May has a concussion. I don't think he's going to play. It'll be the Jacoby Brissett. The Titans are shit. The Titans are a very bad team. However, they're coming off a 40-point shellacking they took from the Detroit Lions. I am going to follow the analytics that show that teams that just come off a game against the Lions tend to really play like shit the next week. The Lions hangover is real. Give me the New England Patriots.
I got to take Tennessee here. I just think Patriots are a bad football team. I'm going to go against your analytics here, but yeah, give me the Titans.
I'm following science. I have to do it.
I like it.
Next up, you have the Bears against the Cardinals. Caleb Williams looked like shit last week against the Commanders. The Cardinals with Kyler Murray are such a Jekyll and Hyde team. You don't know which version you're going to get of the Chicago Bears. They're coming off a really, really, really bad game. What's the spread on this one? Do you happen to know?
It's a pick 'em. It's 1.5.
1.5. Okay, in a situation like that, I'm going to do what I always do, and I am going to go with the home team. Give me the Cardinals, because again, I don't know what version of the Bears we're going to get, so I'm just going to go with the home team. Arizona has been very competitive, even though they're not very good. They've won like 3 games already this year out of 8 from a field goal as time expires. So if they can stay in the game, I think they could beat the Bears. And just because they're home, I'm going with the home team. The Bears have to travel to the West Coast. I don't know. Give me the Cardinals.
Yep, I'm going to take the Bears in this scenario. I think the Bears pulled off. The Bears.
Okay. I mean, I was torn. That's a good pick. I could see that this game truly going either way. Eagles, Jaguars. This is the head coach. This could potentially be the last game for either head coach. The losing team, the head coach could be fired immediately after. So I am going to go with a team that I just think is a little bit better. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles to win at home against the Jags, and Doug Peterson gets shit canned.
You think the Eagles are going to fire their coach at 5-2?
Yeah, Nick Sirianni, he's playing himself out of Philadelphia. They are so sick of that guy. I think if he loses this game, they might think about firing him. I think he's a guy that's pretty much a dead man walking in the offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% he's on the hot seat.
I'll take the Eagles here for sure.
Okay. Philly across the board. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions against the Green Bay Packers. As I said earlier, I mentioned that Jordan Love has yet to he didn't practice today. He's coming off an injury. He left the game the other day. The Lions look legit. I don't think, even if it's Jordan Love with his banged up injury he's got right now, I think it's like a hamstring or whatever, whether it's him or whether it's Malik Willis, give me the Lions no matter what.
Yeah, dude, Lions are such a good team.
They're great. I mean, they're scoring 50 points a game, for God's sake.
It's crazy. Yeah, give me Detroit here.
Next up, we have the Seahawks and the Rams. The Seahawks are not a very good team, nor are the Rams. Both have good weeks and both have bad weeks. Last week, the Rams had a good week. The Seahawks had a really bad week. I am just going to assume that role gets flipped, and the Seahawks have a good week and the Rams have a bad week. So give me Seattle.
Ooh. I really was going to take Seattle because I assumed you were taking the Rams. Gotta make something up here. Give me the Rams here.
Don't get me wrong. I am not super confident in this pick. I'm strictly going off of just how inconsistent both of these teams are. So I'm like, okay, they were bad last week. They were good. So fuck it. And I mean, the Rams also had extra time off. They played on Thursday night, so they've had 10 days. The Seahawks, however, are expected to have DK Metcalf back, if that makes a difference. I think Bronny James just scored.
Was anybody guarding him?
I don't know. I literally just turned. I saw them. everyone inbound the ball, and they zoomed in on Bronny James. So I'm just assuming he did score. Let's take a look. Yeah, he went 1 for 1, got a 2-point shot. Good for him.
Yay.
Was it his first points in the NBA?
I think so. Glad we
That's
could help.
actually really.
Glad we could help the kid out.
That's really cool that he was able to get that in Cleveland. I think that's a great moment. I mean, if he goes to the G League and rots for the rest of his career, that's still pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool. Good for Bronny. I'm happy for him. And now he'll go to the G League and life will go on. All right. Next up, so you're taking the Rams, LAR. Let's go. Sunday Night Football. We have the Colts and the Vikings. Joe Flacco against the Vikings. The Vikings are on a 2-game losing streak. Joe Flacco is back. I think Joe Flacco, I'm not going to say he has a bad game, but I do think that Minnesota is going to be a little too much for him to keep up with. Give me the Vikings at home.
Yeah, I got to take Minnesota here.
Monday Night Football, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City, their offense has not been playing well, but the Buccaneers' defense is not very good. The only good thing is the Chiefs have a very good defense, and the Buccaneers are now going to be without, as they were last week, without Chris Godwin for the season. They're without Mike Evans for a few weeks. Yes, they scored a ton of points on the Falcons, but the Chiefs' defense is much better than the Falcons. Give me the Chiefs at Arrowhead to remain undefeated. I picked against them a couple of weeks ago when they played the Niners, and I learned my lesson. I will not pick against the Chiefs until they give me a reason to.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs take this one. It's gonna be a fun game though. Baker's always fun to watch in prime time, so he's good. He's good for 4 interceptions and 4 touchdowns.
When he threw those 4 interceptions against the Ravens, I loved that down in Punta Cana. I was so happy to watch that game. I joked with everybody. I was like, "Well, he saw that Deshaun tore his Achilles, so this is his audition tape to come back to Cleveland." He's like, "Did you guys miss me? Here's some interceptions for old time's sake." Last but not least, we have the Cleveland Browns against the Los Angeles Chargers.
Can we beat
Chargers defense is really good.
Back-to-back weeks, beat a Harbaugh.
Would be really cool. The Chargers defense is actually really good. Offensively, they're beatable. We're going to be without Denzel Ward. We're going to be without JOK. Their offensive line is really good, so that's going to make things tough for Myles Garrett, who has been kind of non-existent so far. I mean, he's getting pressures and affecting plays, but he's just not getting the stats. And what's irritating is a guy like TJ Watt, now that Alex Highsmith is back to getting sacks and fumbles and stuff like that. So it's annoying that Myles couldn't take advantage of those couple of weeks where TJ Watt was kind of a ghost. However, I can't pick them. I can't do it. That win last week was enough for me to see that Jameis Winston, again, as we said earlier, he's a roller coaster. He's going to have some really fun moments, but he's going to have some oh shit moments. And yes, he should have thrown about 3 or 4 interceptions. He had the costly fumble before halftime that was crucial. That yes, we won the game, so people overlooked it, but it was a bigger deal. Like it could have been way worse than that. So I can't do it. I told everybody in the beginning of the year after they lost when they lost to the Giants, I said, I will not pick the Cleveland Browns again until they give me a reason to pick them. That win against the Ravens was very fluky. I'm not confident that they can manage to pull that together again. I feel like they had a little momentum because of the fresh Jameis Winston starting, the playing on the wings of
the Jimmy D thing was also
the wings of Jim Donovan. That definitely helped them. I just can't pick them. Give me the Chargers.
And let's be honest, they also had the notorious Tim Couch come out and bust the guitar. If
you're going to pump up the crowd,
I joked and said, "Is there a way we can get him on the field today? Let's just get him out there one more time."
I forgot who I was listening to or who tweeted it or wherever the fuck it came from, but somebody had something really funny and they said, "Kind of ironic that you just lost your quarterback last week and the players were bitching at the fans for booing a guy that got hurt, and then you have Tim Couch come out, because who got booed more than anybody than Tim Couch after he got hurt, or cheered, I should say, when he got hurt, that he to the point where he was crying in the locker room."
We ruined that guy so much, and he had such talent, man. We had such high hopes for him coming out, but
he was a great quarterback. He truthfully was the right pick for the number 1 overall pick in that draft class. You're an expansion team. You're going to be terrible. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, who knows what could have happened with David Carr, but he went to an expansion team, and that's kind of what you get. You get these guys that go there, and that is just, it's like the movie The Replacements. You are surrounded by pure shit talent, and it's tough. it's tough to succeed. And unfortunately, it didn't work for Tim Couch, but I loved Tim Couch. I really thought he was a good quarterback.
I agree. But so I'm with you. I can't pick the Browns. I think I'm hoping to see a consistent game again out of Winston. A little more consistent, a little more accurate. But yeah, give me the Chargers here. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I think our holes on defense are gonna show a little bit. And I think their defense is going to put their hands in the ball a little bit more than we want them to. So yeah, give me the Chargers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the show. We're going to end it early. George, I am actually going to piggyback on Kyle's tip, so you can just lump that in together. I kind of forgot the timing of everything. I will save my tip for next week. So if you want to just stick us together, you can go ahead. But as always, let Kyle go first.
Yeah, mine's simple. I'm not gonna talk about either side of the equation here, guys. I'm not one to bring in politics usually, but I think it's important that everybody get out there and vote next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is a big day, bigly day. I'm sorry, I could get it in there, but it's a big day for a lot of stuff, not just for what's going on in the presidency, but what's going on locally too. I mean, look at your state stuff. Look at some of the issues going on right now in the state of Ohio. Issue 1's a big one. Read into it. Do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Read the issues, understand the issues, and go vote. I am someone who doesn't vote down party lines. I will go back and forth and vote on certain topics because what I hope most people do is they read into them. They see what's affecting them personally, their family, their close ones, their loved ones. And it's important to choose what makes sense to you, right? But yes, my tip of the week is just go vote. Let your opinion be heard. Get it out there. And like I said, next Tuesday is big because obviously the presidential election, but there's a lot of local stuff too that you guys need to look at. So that's my 2 cents.
I'm with Kyle. Get out there and vote. It is what it is. Whoever you want to pick. Yeah, I'm not one to try to convince somebody to change sides. If you like a candidate, you like a candidate. It is what it is. Just stick to your guns. And we'll see what happens. I mean, get out there and vote. That's the number one thing you can do as a United States citizen. Get out there, let your voice be heard as much as you can. And as Kyle said, it's not really the presidency is huge, but in the grand scheme of things, our votes are very minimal for the presidential election. It is local. Do what you can to make your state, your life, people around you to do what's best for them. That's the number one thing that you can do. I think people sometimes get blinded by the presidency because all you see is Trump and Harris all over. That's all. It's consuming everything. But there are far, far, far bigger issues locally that people should be paying attention to because those affect you way more than the presidential election does, truth be told.
Absolutely.
So yeah, get out there and vote. Like Kyle said, educate yourself. It is now Wednesday. Election day is Tuesday. If you have not voted already, which I actually have not, I was going to do a mail-in ballot, but because of the baby and because of the vacation, I didn't have a chance to send in my submission, and you have to have your ballot mailed back a week before the election. And that would have been yesterday, and I didn't have time to even get my ballot. So I am just going to go vote in person.
I like voting in person. To me, it's cool. Like, take the Tuesday. I get off work a little early, go in there, cast the vote and everything, get the sticker. To me, it's just kind of cool to do, in person.
Yeah.
I get the mail-in votes. I do. I get it, and that's fine.
So for me, it's just, if I can mail that bitch in and not have to get up, sign me up. But it didn't work out. I wasn't able to do it. I've mailed in, voted before. I've voted in person before. So to me, it's not a big deal. Damn it, Jalen Ivey ended with 3.
I got my $112. He got his points, so we're good.
Damn it. I mean, I'm okay with that. That was a boosted thing that I did, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, get out and vote. That's your right as an American. That's the whole reason we have elections. Take advantage of your democracy and your freedoms. So get out there and vote. We'll see what happens next Wednesday. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about depending on which way it goes. And that's that.
I am more than likely off the next 2 weeks. Remember, I won't be here next Wednesday.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're going to Vegas.
Yeah, I won't be here. Well, I won't be here next Wednesday because it's my week to be at the bowling alley, and then I'm in Vegas the week after. So I'll be back the week after.
Okay,
I'm actually going to back out of bowling that 1 week because I would have been off 3 weeks had I done that because that would have been my week to bowl again.
Bowling, Vegas bowling.
Yeah, I'm going to skip bowling that week so I don't miss this 3 weeks in a row because I don't want to do that. So
okay.
So you got a week to plan if you want to bring a guest on in my absence or something. But yeah, so there's
yeah, good enough. Didn't even think about that. So yeah, so Kyle will not be here. We'll have shows as usual, and we'll have plenty to talk about. And as Kyle said, maybe I'll find a guest or two. And look at that, we're going to hit the 2 hour mark perfectly. Apologies to everybody for showing up late. Tara had to work tonight because she took tomorrow off so we could go trick or treating with Teddy for the first time. typically she would not be working on a Wednesday, and she got home at like 7:15. So we had a little bit of a late start today. So if you have any hate mail or angry messages you want to send her for this late start, feel free to direct it at Tara@Tara.com. And please send that.
www.creedthoughts / whatever that one fake
Only she
website.
has access to this special inbox that I made for her. But all seriousness, guys, get out there and vote. Have a great week. Kyle, have a great time in Vegas. Have a great time in bowling. I'm sure I'll talk to you beforehand. But
absolutely.
For all the viewers at home, wish Kyle well for his trip in Vegas, and hopefully his liver survives and he doesn't end up in a Vegas hospital. But hey, never say never. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll talk to you guys again. I will talk to you again next week. Kyle will talk to you again in a few weeks. And that's it for me. Got anything?
Nothing, guys. Have a good night.
All right, Cleveland, that was for you.